Oliver, hello, hello. I'm doing pretty well today. Things are going. Do I even need? I don't. I guess I don't. I can just use this. Hold on a second. Okay. Let's see if we can get everything set up nice and easy. Let's check our audio levels. I think that's all right. Might be a little quiet. Might be okay. We'll try it. See what happens. Whew, boy. It's Wednesday again. It's Wednesday again. We're here. Thus is life. I've been eating lemon sorbet. It's awful on my health, but it tastes really good. I really like sorbets. Orange and lemon, probably some of my favorites. Lemon lime. Ooh, lime sorbet is really good. Always makes my mouth hurt. Well, whatever. I was a weird kid that didn't like chocolate. So I had like orange sherbet and just like French vanilla ice cream were my go-tos. Were my go-tos. Okay. Whoop, 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 whoop. Onimaku, hello, hello. Victor, welcome in. What is sorbet? Sherbet or sorbet is essentially frozen fruit, like non-milk ice cream. There's a better way to look at it. Yeah, non-dairy ice cream. Not yogurt. It's usually just fruit and ice kind of thing. Sugar, lots of sugar. Let's start with a rugby sketch here. Hope everybody's having a good week. My surgery is planned for next Wednesday, so we will just probably not do a Wednesday stream next week. I mean, I won't be here for Wednesday stream, but we'll probably still set up the drawing prompts for maybe a Friday stream. But yeah, so it's like a fruit flavored popsicle, a little bit. Yeah, it's like a smoothie on a stick. Usually pretty tangy, pretty tart. Keeps the fruit fresh. Like you can eat it with a spoon or you can put it in an ice cream cone. I'd really hoped that my vision would be better today. Just in like response to being grumpy, like, oh, you guys want me to do surgery? Well, I'll show you and I'll just get healthy before it. No, it's bad. It's still bad. So every time I think I'm getting better, it's like, it's pretty much the same. It's slightly better. It's like fractions better. It's in a tub and it's really smooth and sweet, tangy and sweet. Made really small ice crystals. Yeah. Yeah. I think the essentially what you do is you take like a smoothie paste, like a juice, with chunks of fruit in it, and then you mix it with sugar, and then you freeze it the same way you would make ice cream, because the crystalline structure of the sugar allows the ice crystals to form and make a creamy, smoothie, yummy thing, versus just like a brick of frozen fruit. So I think the sugar is important to the sorbet, and then also the way you make it. When I was a kid, I don't know if people still have a Schwan Man. People know what that is. Basically, like they were freezer trucks, and they would drive around and sell you like meat, popsicles, and stuff. Not an ice cream truck. It was like this was something you ordered from them. Good news, I think. I think so. Yeah, it's there. Yeah, Victor, it's essentially. I'm trying to think of a better way to describe it. It's essentially just ice cream. Like that's all there really is to it. Like if you go to Baskin Robbins or other ice cream shops here in America, it's just another option you can get. Yeah, they used to have sorbet pops, so you could get them in like a popsicle, which is really good. They came in like little plastic tubes. They'd have a little like plunger in them, and so you just like poop out the poor sorbet and just nom 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 nom. It's pretty good. My D&D party has escaped a bunch of slavers, but fled into a massive abandoned mine. They don't know how obscenely dangerous that is. I mean, the options, right? It's your fault. You gave them you gave them a dark dungeon cave to crawl into. So, I think there's a little bit of faith given to the DM of like, why would you give us an option that's worse than other options? So who knows? Cosmic, welcome in. At least I have friends like that are just like, well, you told us to do this. It's like, I did not tell you to do anything. I gave you options. And I think they have that video game mentality of like, if the video game says jump off the cliff, you do it because it's probably for the storyline. It wouldn't give you the option to dive unless it's a safe landing, you know. Rescued a baby bird, broken leg snapped through in front of my school. Bummer. Admiral David Chippington. That's good. That is good. There was a seagull that used to live near my house that didn't have a leg. He seemed fine. He hung out. Lollipop sticks. I hope the bird does well. Best of luck taking care of that bird. Ooh, I did a no-no. I made the same. If you're doing shading and like something is on the same plane, it should usually be the same direction, otherwise it looks weird. That's something I've learned. Where do you have lollipop sticks? Like, did you just cut them off with a lollipop? Can you buy sticks like that? I guess I have like barbecue skewers and toothpicks. I have like, it's interesting. If you could buy just lollipop sticks, that would be amazing. Just like paper sticks. You could build so many things with those. Interesting. Oyster chasers, huh? They had 3 active choices An active mind back the way they came, or the abandoned mind all had dangers different. Gotcha. You can buy them at the craft stores. Interesting. I'll have to look that up. I actually don't have a project for them, but I like having stuff like that around. Like I have boxes of popsicle sticks and rags and chip brushes and just like anything I could need for tiny crafts. I stockpile them. And then I make puppets for YouTube videos because that's the weird dude that I am. Do people like the puppet shorts? Or should I stick to... I think the animation ones did a little better. But I like the puppets, so... Might just need to figure out better content for the puppets. Flopping cat was good. Okay. I think this is a pretty good rugby warm-up. I'm pretty happy with this one. Might just move on. Man, my eyes bothered me today. Stab it. Stab it. I've stopped drawing rugby with weird goblin feet. And I'm not sure if that's a boon or a detriment. Like, am I being lazy, or does it just look better when he has normal feet? He definitely looks less disheveled today. He looks much more... I don't want to say content, but more... Maybe content is the right word. I like the pups. They usually come with short bursts of very useful information, so I have really fun memories. That's good. Okay, we got a push pop. Got a good rugby. I think we're ready. I think we're ready for the first dice roll. So the way this works, for those of you who are just joining in, we have a huge list from things suggested on the community posts for Monday. We will roll the dice and pick one of them from the list based on the dice god's choice, and we'll draw it. That's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. I have the list set up over here. We have about 20 on the list today, so we should get through quite a few of them, I hope. I hope so. If you have one that is not on the list because you did not post one this week, you're welcome to add it to the list now, and that is fun. 15. A Yuan-ti mage assassin rogue monk with a short sword. Okay. That's a pretty good one. That is a pretty good one. Mage assassin. Is it someone who assassinates mages? Looks like we're going for blue. Oh. I fear there will come a day when you will convey an important message through a rugby drawing. I mean, I usually have rugby pretty on my sleeve. Rugby's a good indication of how I'm feeling that day, so. More score, yeah. Rugby's pretty tired when I'm tired, so who knows. All right, Yuan-ti. I watched a TikTok this morning about the order in which English words are derived in a sentence. I think it goes, it's like numbers, then location. Big red ball was the example. So like adjectives, it's big. Oh yeah, this is order of adjectives. That's what it was. You wouldn't say a red big ball in English. You'd always say a big red ball because you do quantity, size. There's like 7 of them, which was really surprising. Color, Like all of those are ordered a certain way, so when other people speak English, sometimes they screw that up. That's why things sound weird. It's like, why do you say it like that? It's because they just have ordering. I didn't realize there was an actual order that I'm following. Yuan-Tis probably don't have pointy ears. They're not elves. Color first doesn't sound right. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure, we should look this up. It's order of adjectives in English, but it's, I think, quantity. Quantity, there was another one, and then color. Quantity, size, color. Maybe it was location. It might have been quantity. Size. Location. Color. Blue Bulgarian bouncy bulky balls sounds wrong. 25 blue. Yeah, what would bouncy be? Bouncy would be like a, yeah, bulky. I would say blue bulky. I think bulky would denote size. 25 bulky blue Bulgarian bouncy balls. That sounds right. Do you think this is a mage that is an assassin, or is an assassin that kills mages? That's how this discussion got started. I'm going to make it an assassin. Well, mage assassin still sounds pretty cool. Tom Scott has a good video on this topic. Nice. Yeah, like I said, I just saw a TikTok this morning about it. So it's probably, I think it was a literary man. It was like an English teacher. I've seen a whole bunch of biologists and medical doctors talking about like the defining sexuality in a, or defining genders in a biological sense is just a weird way to do it. And they just have all this knowledge for it, and I think it's funny. Trying to destigmatize social constructs and science, or using science as a way of propagating social constructs is wrong. I think that's pretty interesting. At one point in my life, I considered myself like a professional scientist, and professional scientists weren't happy about that, so I'm just an art kid that likes science. Okay, leather armor. We need leather armor. Is what we need. If you're a mage assassin, I would think you'd be wearing like maybe really flowy stuff. Kind of catch spells. You like lots of ribbons instead of leather. We could do like a hood. That could be kind of interesting. Ooh, I like that idea. Okay. We're gonna go like Assassin's Creed here. Language and words have meaning, which I think is interesting. But we don't always all agree on how they should be used and what they mean. Is that to say that none of this is logical? What do you mean? None of what is logical? Word choices or social constructs? I think it's illogical to try to unify people into single words that then make legislation about. I think that's illogical. I think everything's too complicated for that. People are generally just too complicated for one-word definitions. Especially in biology. Good lord. Case in point, mage assassin? Like, what does it mean? It really depends. Oh man, the woodpecker's back. Thought I got rid of him. I think the woodpecker is banging on my chimney because the crows are like getting too close to his nest. But I want the crows around. The woodpecker's just kind of in the way. So it's like, do I shoo off the woodpecker or do I let him be around and let the crows just be a dick to him? So if he's got a nest, I don't want to like shoo him out of the nest, but also he shouldn't have had a nest there. Stupid woodpecker. Oh my god. The only way to have good laws is to make them with clear language and specific meanings and interpretations. Yeah. I think you and every lawyer would argue that, but fortunately that's not always the case because people love finding loopholes. And that's really the problem with rule lawyers in general in D&D is like, are you a rule lawyer because you're trying to pervert the game or prevent it? Like protect the integrity of the game. And that's kind of, life in general. The rules say you can't do that. Yeah, but it'd be more fun if I could. Let's change the rules then. Like that's that's how the conversation should go. Otherwise, you have Calvin Ball on legislation scale. yeah, absolutely. Like that's a great point. It's kind of how things are going right now. But no, I'm a big fan of, especially in D&D, just like if things seem like they need to change them. Like don't adhere yourself to the rules. But you have to go through the right channels of talking to your DM and making sure that that's okay. Instead of just deciding on yourself, like, I'm going to change the rules. It's like, maybe talk to everybody first about that. Will a rules lawyer remind me of the rule that hurts their character? Yeah, exactly. Like that's a good way to tell if your friends are lawful or chaotic. the kid in class that raised his hand. Weren't we supposed to have a test today? It's like, why? Why did you do this? Like one of my players will remind me that monsters flanking is PC. Yeah. See, I think that's really important. I think it's good to be able to like hold that stuff accountable. And I'll do that kind of stuff too. Because at the end of the day, like I will as a DM, I'll fudge numbers for storyline. For sure. Like if I want something to happen, I either won't roll or I'll like do a secret roll just so people think I'm rolling. But like if something is important enough that you need a roll to happen, then just make it part of the storyline. But beyond that, I will kill off every one of my characters based on things that happen. So, because something I've learned as a DM is like, if you don't want one of your NPCs to die, don't attack them. Just don't. The dice will always punish you. So, yeah. In my game, in my opinion, the game should function on its own with its rules as written. It should, yeah. But the problem is those rules were written by people, and years pass and games change and people play with different variances, and like magical gear is different than what the gameplay was intended. So unless you want to play, what's the like a module? Modules are balanced pretty well, and so like if you play a module with no homebrew, just straight out of the book, they work great. But I like letting my players be a little more flexible and creative, so I do a lot of homebrewing. My DM changes stuff just to make it fit nicely and make it fun. Yeah, and that's really all you really need to do. So I don't change a lot of the rules per se. Trying to think of examples of like I'll add stuff. I think is probably more of the extent of my homebrew. Like I really like the massive damage rules. I really like the like double everything for crits. It just makes the game a little more hectic, but higher highs and lower lows, without actually changing too much of the rules. It's just homebrew variants. I got here and my submission is already being done. Nice. Congratulations, Lizard. There was a situation in my last campaign where I was arguing with my DM. Then when I was arguing with the DM, then one of my paladin party members should be getting the extra damage versus undead and fiends. Yeah, that's good. The only problem with that is whether or not it is actually an undead or a fiend. I'm pretty... Oh, hello, Corvus, by the way. I see you in the recording. I just haven't heard you say anything. I hope that's on purpose. Not on my end. What was I saying? The undead, yeah. I'll grab characters and then swap out their stats so my players don't really know what they are. But at the same time, I'll still fall back to the book for most accounts. So like if it's supposed to be a fiend, it's usually a fiend. But sometimes I'll be like, this is actually a bog monster because that's flavorfully what I want the stats to be, but it looks like this other thing, right? So cranberry juice. Delicious. Hello. Welcome in. Let me see it. Oh, Discord's being stupid. Hold on. Okay.
Hello?
There we go. It figured itself out.
Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt, so I just kept quiet.
It might be time to save these images for references. Yeah, we were talking about pet peeves and stuff yesterday in chat because we were just hanging out, and someone posted a whole bunch of like weird shoe designs for anthropomorphic feet. Bit excessive in my mind, but that's fine. Can't wait to play this character after being a DM for a current campaign. Nice. That'll be fun. Quick Google search showed that he was incorrect. There was also a realization to him that the demons and devils are both considered fiends. Interesting. I am so bad about demons and devils. Like, I don't care. I never cared to learn. I kind of have a vague understanding of it, but like for the most part, in my mind, I swap them out in my head. I'll use them interchangeably. Devils have contracts. Fiends are just monsters in my mind. That's the only difference I ever think about it, but I also put them in the same boat. Drinking far more water recently, and I've been so much better for it. Nice, congrats.
Gross. Drinking water's bad for you.
Not for me. I need it. I need it, or I will die. "100% of people that have drunk water die."
Exactly.
Gonna play my Inquisitor tonight. It's gonna be fun.
Your investigator, you mean?
Yeah. I keep saying Inquisitor. Is that the old Pathfinder thing? I think Inquisitor was a class in...
Yeah, so Inquisitor was like a religious investigator.
Yeah.
But D&D's investigator subclass is called the Inquisitive, so it does not help.
No, it does not. Playing a Garan investigator named Sabaro de Sabotender. He's a cactus. I tried to model him off of Dick Tracy, so we'll see what happens. Blizzard, maybe you can answer this question. We were trying to figure out whether this was a assassin that was a mage or an assassin that killed mages. Yeah, that's where we got onto the subject of adjective ordering in English. We were trying to figure out.
I knew immediately this question would come up because I was looking over the list. I was like, wait, we need commas. This is... Normally do not advocate for commas, but in this case I think we need a comma somewhere. It's like, are they a mage and an assassin who's also a monk? Or are they an assassin who hunts mages while also being a monk multi-class?
You know, the suggestions I always put in the post, I winged them completely, just thought them up and figured they'd be cool. That's okay. That's fine. I generally try to tell people, like, if there's something you want to see, I'd prefer that. Or, like, if you have a character that you have made, I'd prefer that. But I also get some people just want to see cool stuff drawn, so I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I remember back a while back, people would say things like, "Oh, I can't think of anything to add to the list this week." It's like, that's fine. Like, you don't have to add something every week. Like, let other people have some space. That's fine. I don't want people to feel pressure to, like... So that was it. Someone was like, "I'm gonna have to find a generator or something so I can put something on the list." It's like, just don't. It's fine. Like, you don't need to. I want the characters to be something that people care about. At least a little bit. But if that's just because you want to see something cool, I think that's fine too. I am not for a want of character ideas.
Yeah. It's just the character ideas that I was coming up with this morning. It's like, no, I don't want to add to the growing list of gnomes, so something else.
There's a lot of gnomes and a lot of Garan, which is fine. Go watch the new Garan video. If you haven't seen that, go like, comment, subscribe, share it with your friends.
Quick correction. Konrasu video.
Konrasu video. Thank you. You're right. They're the same.
You're playing
one is
a
from
Garan.
space. One is a plant, and the other one is an alien that grows plants. So it's an outsider
Not
driving a Garan. That's what a Konrasu is.
Okay. I could give you that. I was like, but they're not the same.
They're not the same. I accidentally meant to make a sniper inquisitor rogue, being able to insight check to find the best area to shoot. Sounds pretty cool. That's interesting. Yeah, because they have a pretty cool ability to, like, it's like the old bardic inspiration or performance where you just say, "I'm gonna buff the party by singing." Instead, you're essentially finding weak points and telling the party about them. That's how my guy's set up right now. So it gives everybody a buff, which I think is really cool. I have 37-page single-page Google Doc with every character I've thought about playing. Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot. Pretty much all the things I have suggested besides the Dragonborn Warlock I'm playing currently are potential characters. I'm considering it all for next campaign. Very cool. Very cool. That's good. There are snake people in Final Fantasy XIV. And I love their character design. They have like lots of flowing clothes. They have lots of dangly jewelry and stuff. And so it looks really cool. But then the people that designed it were like, okay, so we're going to have snake people. What if we do like people and like, I don't know, 20% snake? It's like, what? What is this? What am I looking at? This is what they look like. It drives me up the wall.
It looks like they're like floating on their knees.
Yeah. And then like they'll have the snake part touch the ground, and then the tail is like this big.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, what are you doing? It's like, this does not a snake person make. This is like a newt. It's like a newt without legs. So that always frustrates me.
Yeah. I get that they're limited in like the rigging that they can implement into a online video game. So
really, so like WoW has really good snake people. They make the I can't remember what they're called. The Naga?
The Naga?
Yeah. They look great. But Blizzard built custom rigs for all of those. Final Fantasy basically stole all of the rigs from Final Fantasy 11 and are using them in 14, which is why a lot of their stuff is really weird and janky, because they had to start with the rig and then build something around it. So they just didn't have anything that had like long tails. So I kind of see why they did that, but also I feel like it's a cop-out. They could have spent a little more time on it. I'm more in the camp of mostly snake with human traits. Yeah, I like upper body and then like really huge snake tails. Same thing with like merfolk. Like really with merfolk, I like making it look like people that then got eaten by a fish. Just like coming out of their mouths. I think that's interesting.
I prefer my humans with slightly snake features. That's just because I don't like snakes.
Sure. Bring the snitty. Created from God of War 2 are really cool. Have unique rigs. Yeah, they should. God of War God of War 2. Guild Wars 2 was another one. They built everything from scratch, so they should have good rigs. 14 basically, I mean, part of the problem with The Realm Reborn was that they tried so hard to just reuse assets from 14 or from 11, and it really handicapped them. Like they had so many stipulations and things that they could not do because of it. So
Gotta save that money.
Yep. Apparently next expansion they're getting a graphical update. That will be amazing. So I'm excited for that.
Maybe the Roskar won't be all hunched over anymore.
Yeah, maybe. Why even play a snake folk person if snakes aren't your jam? Okay.
Because I like snake eyes and snake tongues, but anything else, nope. They don't got legs. Never trust anything without legs.
Alright, I'm going to roll the dice again. I think I'm done with this one, so we're going to move on to the next. I rolled a 4. Gnome fighter with a mohawk holding a great sword above his head that is clearly too big and is about to fall over. Nice.
See, gnomes. I don't know what it is.
No. This looks like we're doing green too. Lamia is pretty good though. Is that the snake? I mean, that's essentially what I was drawing. I think the Lamias are just top half lady, bottom half snake, right? I mean, like,
Depends on the type.
I don't remember. I don't remember where that came from.
So, push up my non-existent classes. Lamias are based off of Greek mythology called a woman named Lamia, who was turned into like a snake woman who ate babies.
Ah.
But in D&D and in Pathfinder, they are lion ladies. They're like,
Yeah.
have upper body woman, lower half lion. Like lion centaurs.
Yeah, because there's Lamashtu. Lamashtu is the goddess of monstrous births. And she like has weird claws and lion-eaty baby things.
Yep.
Some of them are lions. Others are snakes. Interesting. Okay.
Yep. It's like, I think if they get more powerful, or if they're like a powerful type of a Lamia, they have a snake body.
They just slowly turn into chimeras.
I mean, makes sense to me. So, I'm really liking the new HBO thing. Max.
HBO Max?
No, it's not HBO Max anymore, because if you try to go to their app, they're like, you now have to download the Max app.
Okay.
But your account is the same.
Interesting.
But they have like, my preface, monopolies are bad, but I really like that they have all the Discovery Channel stuff on here, because they have Mythbusters and River Monsters and everything on it now.
Oh, okay.
It's like, and all the Cinemax stuff.
Belly dancing is next level. It depends on when they're societal ranking?
Societal. Social ranking.
Yeah. Victor, I'm drawing a gnome with a mohawk.
Night Elf Mohawk.
Night Elf Mohawk. That's such a good
Mohawk
commercial.
grenade. Anyway, I'm throwing off my nerd classes.
I tried for 2 hours yesterday to beat the first Elden Lord, and I can't remember his name.
Godfrey?
Godfrey, yeah.
Have you got to his second phase yet?
Oh, yeah. No, we got him down to like 20%, and then we just keep getting murdered by stupid lag and shit.
Oh. I was going to say, when he does his stomps, you need to jump up instead of like rolling into him.
Yeah, we figured that out.
Jump over them.
My problem kept happening for the first while was we'd get used to jumping, and then he'd do the like giant fissure in the ground, and I'd try to jump, and that kills you. You have to roll away from it. So
yeah.
Like, jump, roll. But like, the thing that pissed me off the most is I'm using the bow, the big great bow spell. And so, like, I'll start casting, and he'll be looking at someone else, and I will start casting, and he will raise his sword, do a 180, and then smash me with it. And it's like, what the... Like, he got his entire attack off while I was casting a spell. That's not fair.
Yeah.
And then in the second phase, he'll do the same thing where he'll just, like, he'll charge at you, punch you, grab you, fly in the air, and kill you. And it's like, I was blocking. I blocked that. Yeah. And it killed me.
I am pretty sure that is insta death if you get grabbed by it.
It is, yeah.
So I don't think you can actually block it. I think you just got like
essentially what they've done.
Roll into him.
Yeah, yep. That's the trick. But essentially what they've done is just like, if your character is good at blocking, nope, we'll kill you. If your character's good at spells, nope, not allowed to cast spells. It's like, this is this is just kind of not fun. That basically the only way to fight him is to be an agi character, and it's like, cool, thanks game. I'm not going to do that. I seem to pick a character race first based on aesthetics and then juxtaposition. Yeah, that's pretty common. I think that's one way people like to do that. I like summoning the Goon Squad in Elder Ring. That's what I call the 5 demi-humans. Also live by
Monkey
it.
people.
I legit have never made an orc because I find them ugly. AF. Well, I mean, like, you can make them look like whatever you want. Same with the gnomes.
You can have sexy orcs.
You can have sexy orcs, yeah, exactly.
Look at Ford. You don't have to go for WoW or Legend of Zelda style orcs.
I haven't drawn a skull belt in a while. Excited for Diablo 4. That's going to be good.
I don't think I need another video game to absorb more of my life into.
Yeah, that's a fair thing. Trick is to make your life video games. That's what I did. I just want to draw more. Well, now that's my whole life. There's a thing on TikTok on that I can't not see. That's people item duping in Tears of the Kingdom. And it's just like, oh man, I don't want to do that. But now I know it exists. My brain's like, do that. It's like, no. We're gonna beat it legit. I think the pig-faced orcs is a misreading of the original orc description. They look pig-like noses, a bit too far, and gave them pig heads, similar to how Japanese kobolds look like dogs. That could be. I like the Tolkien orcs, especially like the cartoon, where they're just like walking potatoes. They look a little like Muppets.
Yeah, was it the goblins who kind of looked like weird lizard people to me? I don't know. There was like in one of the cartoons, I don't know if they were orcs or they were goblins.
Well, so
they kind of looked like lizard folk.
The Tolkien orcs are goblins. Like they're the same. And then they have the Orcai, which were like super orcs. They look more like men. So there's in the Tolkien universe, there is a distinction between what goblins and orcs looked like because they weren't supposed to look like men. They were like corrupted elves, and elves were also like started off kind of thin and gangly. So there's little snippets of what they could look like. Yeah, fighting Green Bebop. I mean, yeah, that's totally fine. I think that's good. And then with this Legend of Zelda universe, Ganon is a giant pig, so it makes sense that all the orcs there are pigs, like they're boars, like just straight up. If the default orc in your world looks like a rip-off Toxic Avenger, I'm out. WoW is pushing it. I'm a little too exaggerated. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I don't really have a way to interject or talk about this if people just keep talking about what they hate. So you are welcome to not like a design. Nothing wrong I have nothing to add to that. Yeah, I love those guys. They're so good. I just prefer the near human interpretations as it's generally more terrifying to me. Pig heads are just too comical for me, but I get why people like them. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen like straight up pig people, because like we did the Boarfolk video I really liked, but like I never once in my mind thought like, ooh, this looks like an orc, and it's just like, no, it's just a pig guy. So like, yeah, the
Wereboar.
The Legends of Zelda ones, I think, are probably my favorite because they just like they have the tusks. The tusks are good. Some of them have a longer snoots. I like the longer snoots.
So apparently they're doing a Planescape and Sigil book.
Sigil
fifth
book?
edition.
What is a sigil book?
Sigil is the big donut-shaped city that's like in the heart of the multiverse thing.
Okay.
It's spelled sigil, and I want to say sigil, but the official pronunciation guide is sigil, and it's like, it's wrong.
Yeah, that's weird.
But yeah, it's sigil. It's a big donut-shaped city. It's like called the City of Doors.
Cool. Plane chase is an interesting concept. It makes Magic the Gathering a little more interesting, but it's not fun all the time.
Yeah.
It was my understanding that things from Legend of Zelda are goblinoids. Yeah, I mean they're considered both. Like they're called moblins. In the original one, I think they are labeled as orcs, and they might be moblins in that too. Moblins, bokoblins. Keese. There's a lot of weird names for the different monsters in Legend of Zelda. So, green boar human hybrid person with tusk is how I picture an orc. That's fine. Goblins and orcs can have been used interchangeably. That's true. In Tolkien, like I said, it's the same thing. I think what happened was the use of goblins were meant to be small orcs in the Tolkien universe, and then the Uruk-hai just kind of solidified orcs as being large human fighting things. And that's kind of what Gygax took, right? Like that's where D&D orcs came from. It's just big scary Tolkien monsters that are humanoid and maybe larger. So I don't know. It's not worth trying to like derive where everything came from, because it just, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Whatever you want to run with it. If you want to play an orc in D&D, they're giant green humanoid people with tusks, which I love. I just see the silly 40k orc boys every time I think of orcs. Yep, same thing. D&D separated a bunch of synonyms out, different monsters, when historically they were just different words. Yep. Absolutely, that's how they do it. It's just like recoloring a skin in a video game. It's the same thing. Because otherwise you just fight orcs forever, and that's all you fight. I love fighting the undead because it having the undead basically doubles your monster manual. Whatever you have, you just have an undead version of it too. Kazar, hello. Come from goblins and kobolds come from the same German myth. Yep, that's true. I talked about that a little bit in my kobold video. Kind of dislike how people are like often, oh, it's just Lord of the Rings, boring. But then something isn't Tolkien, people going, why isn't it generic fantasy? Yeah, Tolkien's like, I mean, you have to take Tolkien as like the godfather of modern fantasy. It just is. Because before Tolkien, it was all individualized, like Germanic, Slavic, and a handful of other like European fantasy things, but they were all spread out and all over the place. Like if you talked about trolls or fairies or fae, like those meant different things depending on where you were from. So Tolkien kind of collected all of that into one monomyth that we used then moving forward in America at this point for our thing. So you can always go back to those old stories. Those are great. I love doing that for like the fae. When I play D&D, I use a lot of old Germanic fae stories and Irish stories.
Yeah. And really, before Tolkien, in the context of England, most of the quote-unquote fantasy stories that they would have been writing before him would have been just like King Arthur stories.
Mm-hmm.
Just sort of like pseudo-historical fiction of like Arthur, Red Robin.
Yeah.
Robin Hood.
Yeah, the Arthurian legends were huge.
Yeah.
Were huge before Tolkien for fantasy because there was a lot of just like, you know, knights and stuff. Orcs weren't commonly depicted as greenish gray. Oh, I was gonna say I thought they were more gray than green, but a lot of the old D&D art was black and white, and it was awful.
Yeah, I don't want to show the old art for kobolds because it's so not a kobold.
The weird little dog creatures.
Yeah, and then there's like the one that's just like, this is just a goblin. Like this, you can't distinguish us from anything else other than just goblin.
Yeah, I think the original kobold concept was just cave goblins, like, which is weird because like, oh no, goblins in caves? Like, no, they didn't have to be. So, orcs and WoW are naturally red. They turn green due to demon corruption. That's true too. Certain D&D art that I've seen of green orcs art, I think it was in AD&D 2E. Yeah, I'm not sure when the green popped up. I have a daily visualized orc with swine traits, like, and hobgoblins with bat traits. Hoblinoids? Is that a hobgoblin? Because a hobgoblin is still a goblinoid. But I like bugbears having bat features. I guess same thing with hobgoblins. I could see that. I guess I draw my goblins with bat ears too, though.
Yeah.
So I guess who knows. So yeah, and maybe that's what instead of hoblinoids, you're trying to say goblinoids with bat traits. I like that. Dog kobolds were a thing. Yep, I like dog kobolds. Little rat kobolds too were really funny in Magic the Gathering. I like them a lot. Orcs come in orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and gray. Yeah, I think the whole thing with orcs, like skin tone wise, there's two trains of thoughts, and it's whether or not they're cave orcs or if they are like mountain, or is it desert orcs? What was it? I think it was mountain orcs, where they just kind of lived in like wastelands. Wastelands I've always seen as being a little more like earthy toned, dark reds, dark grays, or dark reds, dark yellows, and then kind of like the underground, more goblinoid. They go for more pallor greens and blues. I like both of those concepts.
Yip yak.
Yip yap.
Yep, yep, yep. That was 1E's version of the Kobold language.
That's right.
Yip yak.
Yeah, I remember that now. I was like, I've heard that word before.
Yep.
I'm a fan of being of Kobolds of Baldur's Gate, only getting draconic features if they were service of a dragon. That could be a fun way to do it. I really like the idea that kobolds are just dragon goblins. Like goblins with dragon blood. Alright, I think I'm done with this gnome boy. Gotta give his skull some eye holes. There we go.
I'll be Drusco. Push-ups.
I did it on purpose. I said I was going to do it. I prefaced on purpose. I think I'm getting a lot better at knowing what I'm drawing. Like, I think I'm being more intentional lately, and I'm happy. So. 13. Myconid Ooze Warlock with tendril hair. Nice.
So its patron is a news?
I guess so.
So it's a slime mode.
Slime mode.
Myconid.
Maybe I might need pictures of that. I'm still on green. How many poll things do we have here? 55? All right, we'll just keep it. That's fine.
Yep.
We'll make a new one.
Yes.
I
mean, you could always, since you did green, you could do red.
Yeah.
Since it's number 2.
No, I think it's fine. I think I just won't add green on the next poll.
Yeah. I instinctually clicked green by accident. I was like, he already did green.
Womp womp. As far as bugbears, I like them to look like fantasy versions of brutes from Halo. Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Brutes are a little weird because they don't have faces. They're just all eyebrows and teeth. Like if you really wanted to draw a brute from Halo, you basically just have to do this. It's like, yep, that's a brute. And I think that was intentional, because they're essentially just like bigger grunts.
I don't know. I like. You never really see it too often, but like I kind of like bugbears being a bit cat-like.
I can see that. Like they're supposed to be skulky. Like they should.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually try to give them like cat eyes. I think that works pretty well. Is this fan art? Strike.
Because like way they're described, like being lazy, but also very skilled hunters and very sneaky. It's like those are just traits of a male lion.
It's true. That's very true. I don't know what the Sangili are. It sounds like a word I know, but I don't know what it is. Look like space gorillas. They are huge, which is awesome. I think the brutes being as big as they were was a really good boon, because like fighting the elites, it felt kind of like, yeah, it's just a person. Like I don't care, whatever. But the grunts had a really weird shape, and then you had like the weird spindly dudes that were hard to snipe, and then just elites were just other people. It's like, okay, cool. And the brutes ended up being these huge things. I thought that was really interesting. I liked those. Change up the anatomy, people. Looks awesome. What was I drawing?
Sangheili is like the real name for elites.
Oh, okay.
It's like their actual name.
They're horribly designed. Like I love the Bungie guys. I've talked to them a few times. I have some friends that worked at Bungie. Like the elites design doesn't make any sense, and it's really stupid. So whatever.
Never played Halo, so oh well.
They don't have jaws. They have humanoid heads. And you're like, okay, that's cool. And then they have like mandibles, but they have mandibles with no bottom jaw. And these like spider mandibles kind of come in. Crabs mandibles also fold in, so that you can actually like scoop things in. The elite's jaws are completely open on the bottom, and they don't do anything. So they literally can't eat anything without it just falling out. They wouldn't be able to talk the way that they do talk. It's very strange. It's very strange. It's a bad design. That's all I'm saying. They could have been way cooler. I think they were trying to go for like a Predator vibe. And it did not come out well. Remember, elites and other people in those games were basically wearing space bikinis. Yeah, it was really strange. The elites are literally my favorite WDMYM. I don't know what that means. I liked playing as elites in Halo 2. I really did, yeah. I liked playing as the Arbiter. That was really, really fun. I'm glad they put it in there. I want the design to be a little cleaner. They use their tongues, the whole thing's in. Yeah, they didn't eat tongues either. It's really gross. Elite Keenies. What do you mean? Oh, okay. Yeah, I think the Elite were really good thematically and in the story. I love them. Like, they're really cool. They're these, honor guard for this kind of failing race of collected aliens. And I just wish their head design was a little bit better. Really, I think if the bottom jaw closed, so they had basically like a 4-pronged mouth, that would look a lot better. And it could have just been poorly modeled. I bet the original designs probably looked pretty badass. But it definitely feels like one of those things that was designed from a portrait and then they didn't design it the other ways. So, which happens. That totally happens. Okay, what was I doing? Ooze shrooms. The jaw can close. It's just never shown in game. In the books, only meat is that close their jaws. Okay, yeah. So I mean, that's my argument. My argument is that the 3D models look like shit. I really, really like the elites. Don't get me wrong. I just wish the models looked better, and maybe the new ones. I haven't seen the new ones yet. I stopped playing in like Halo 3. I played a little bit of Infinite, but only the multiplayer. So maybe they've updated it since I've seen it. I should look into that, but before I keep talking trash. The book and lore for the Char, their claws retract. In game, their claws are longer than the models. Yeah, it's. I definitely feel like it is a like when they were modeling it, because they have the polygon issue and like trying to make things fit. I'm pretty sure it's a technical issue. Best elite models are in Infinite, but you sadly cannot play as one, so I never bothered with the game. Bummer. That's weird. I feel like that would be something that they should just straight up do, especially since Infinite was supposed to be so encompassing, What
are we talking about?
Halo Infinite.
Oh.
I usually like to put a cap, like a mushroom cap, on the top of these Myconids. But I don't know what slime molds look like. I guess I could just make it goopy. I've literally been playing for playable elites to come back for over a decade, and it's so sad. Guild Wars 2 is getting an engine update. Yay! That's good. Do you think T3? I don't understand that sentence, Cosmic. I'm sorry. Please restate.
Destiny 3.
Ah.
I would like to play as an Elixir.
Which one are the Elixirs?
So they're like when you first do your make your character and you go through the little Cosmodrome place. They're the enemies there. They're called the Fallen.
The little robot people?
Yeah, they're like they do a lot of like cyber mod to
Okay.
themselves. So
They keep. I don't know. I like the idea of being able to play more races. Like in WoW, they keep adding different people, but at the same time, like some of it feels really cheap. Like, oh, you can play the High Mountain Tauren. It's like this should just be an option for all the Tauren players. Like, don't make them start something new. And then like the little furry guys they added, the Fenix, they're essentially just like the Goblin reskinned, which is like cool, low hanging fruit. You guys can just reskin stuff and make new stuff. So it's whatever. So like I love and hate it at the same time. Because like I would love to play like one of the Nagas in WoW. That would be really cool. But they're like, what about Pandarans? It's like, oh. Like there's so many cool things they could add and they just never do, and they do it weird. So who knows why people make those decisions?
because why would Nagas help people?
Why would the undead help people? Like they've made a storyline for that.
I mean, it's true, but death to all the undead.
Don't want to jump up here to say that.
I mean, they've ruined the Banshee Queen to the point where she just needs to like be gone.
Oh, she is. She's gone. I doubt she's
Sure?
coming back. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's not coming back. She might come back.
I was gonna say they love bringing her back. It's like chuck her in the void and let her stay there.
I mean, that's where she's at now. Spoilers for the last expansion. She's in the void.
Good riddance to bad characters.
I really liked her character, and I think they done her dirty. It was bad writing. Just a slew of bad writing. Yeah, her character was really cool until they decided that, fuck it. We'll just do whatever we want with it.
Yep. Let's have her burn down the world tree.
That'll be great.
It's like, let's not.
She's a good guy the whole time, I promise. She's like, no. You guys fucked this up. Bad job. Bad job, Blizzard.
Again, I don't play.
Oh, I do. I'm a fanboy.
Yeah.
I'm a Blizzard fanboy, and they did not do a good job.
That's why I specifically like throwing shade whenever it's just me and you, because it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't really mean half of it.
Yeah. 2 to 4 armed 6-eyed dudes with drones. Okay, yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. WoW does it in not the best way recently. Trolls, but slightly different. Taurens, but slightly different. Gnomes, but slightly different. Yeah. I want to play Murlocs, dang it. Yeah, I mean, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, they should really be, especially with the expansions, they should be adding things that are wholly new, and they're not. They're just recycling. So it's just kind of like, yeah, this game's at the end of its life cycle, so whatever. It's if people would care about Shadowlands spoilers. Yeah. Tried playing WoW once, never looked back. Don't touch subscription service games. Huh, that's too bad. It's a fun game. It is a fun game. And it's really fun to play with friends, but like I'm done with it for the moment. I might pick it up on the next expansion again. It's worth like 2 or 3 months, and then I just call it.
Did I get? Oh.
Because of COVID, the Guild Wars 2 PC became a sidekick to an NPC. Huh. Make the guild names refugees. Artist needs more body types. When did we ever get the Coltarian fat humans instead of getting more human body types? Why did we get Nightborn instead of skinny night elves? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they really could, when they make new races like that, make them wholly unique, and they don't. And it's really boring. Sub is better than free, though Blizzard is double dipping into using freemium payment methods. So I don't think I've ever bought anything from the Blizzard store. So like that's not a thing for me. Like same thing with like Final Fantasy. I don't mind paying the subscription because for the most part they keep new content coming out all the time, and it's fine. And you can you can always just cancel your subscription and then pick it back up when you want, which is what I do with WoW, right? Like I'll buy the new expansion, I'll play for a month, and then I will either I like that you can buy your subscriptions with gold. And so it's like, if I'm playing the game and I'm making gold, then I'll pay for a subscription. And if not, that's a good point for me to stop paying and stop playing the game. So yeah, I like supporting games that have payments versus like there's a lot of free to play games that kind of lock you behind stuff. Cough cough, Diablo Immortal. And it's just like, nope, not gonna do that. I refuse. So I don't think there's one good way. I think it's really down to the company and the game making it worth your time.
Though I'm not gonna lie, the Zandalari Trolls did make me want to play WoW. So
Zandalari Trolls are really cool.
Trolls that stand up straight.
Yeah. I think that's fine, and I think that's, like I said, it's a fine skin. That should not have been the new expansion's out. Play as one of these guys. It's like, this is just trolls.
Yeah.
They really should have added like the Naga, because that was important to that game. They could have added the Tuskar again. That would have been really funny.
Let's play Quillbore. That seems fun.
They had a lot of options, and they kind of dropped the ball there. They also could have created a new race dealing with all of the Zandalaris. They could have remade the Witch Doctor. I think would have been really cool. And they just didn't. They're like, ooh, what if the Zandalari Trolls have a unique passive that they can select? It's like, no one's ever going to change. They're going to pick one and they're going to forget about it. So nice job. So yeah, I don't know. Blizzard does not make good decisions. At least they didn't at that time. I don't know what race to put in my D&D setting. I don't want it to limit my players, but some races like halflings don't fit in my settings. I want to know what you guys' thoughts. I think for the most part, if you're deciding what you want to play versus what you want to put in your setting, there could be parts of the world where it's just dwarves, or just minotaurs or whatever. So like when you're making your setting, you can have the main population be one race, and then just everything else switches to rarities, right? And so Pathfinder does a good job of their ancestry feats because they're separated by rarity. It's like, this is something that will not be seen in our campaign settings. But if you're in a part of the world where like tieflings are the main focus, or if like it's humans and tieflings, then that will be more common for your players. And you can say, hey, don't be a gnome. There's probably not going to be any gnomes here. The world is not favorable to gnomes. That doesn't mean they can't be a gnome. It's just going to be really rare, and it's going to change the way they play the game. So definitely like came late. How's everything? Doing pretty good, Elvin here. Limited races for good reasons. Yeah, that's totally fine. Like same thing with flying races. People have talked about like, I don't want to deal with flying characters. It's like, that's completely your right as a DM. If your world is not designed for flying characters, then a flying character can break your world. You can either design a world where it is very common, or make it a very rare thing, and people are kind of aggressive towards it. So it's just like big giant birdman or a giant minotaur walks into a town where they've never seen one before. People are gonna freak out a little bit, and I think that's fine. It just makes the character a little more complicated to play versus allowing it to break the game. Blizzard and good decisions never say the same sentence. You right? Don't just ban something because you're lazy. Right. That's the big thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, make sure it makes sense for your story. Don't do it because you don't want to deal with it. But if a player is also picking it because they want you to have more time, that's toxic, and you should yell at them for it. So be accommodative, but don't be don't let them be a dick. Yep. They've always said that they didn't want to add Naga because they can't have normal armor, but then they just made the Drakthir, right, which you make them naked and everyone thought the humanoids were armor would fit on. That's true. I think the Drakthir was a good choice for them to add. That was kind of fun. They did add a new kind of flavor to it, but then you just click a button and you're a human and you're like, okay, that's lame. Nobody really wanted that. I wanted full on just be dragon people if you're going to be dragon people. I think limiting races is fine. Setting so on halflings and gnomes, there just aren't any. I've done that plenty. Never seen the complications except entitled players. Yep. Yeah, like I said, give non-human body characters innate AC like turtles. You could. I mean, yeah, the other thing you can do is just like when you give somebody armor, if they can't wear it, you know, they just have them customize. That's what I've done in the past for large size creatures. Like when you find armor that you want to keep this magical, it's like, cool, you're going to have to pay somebody to fit this to you. And so like if you're a turtle, you're not technically wearing it, but you're wearing the pieces of it that give you the magical effect or the AC bonus. And it has to be custom fit to you, and then no one else can wear it, right? So you're adding a cost to allowing them to do that. And it may not be traditionally like the same look, but you can kind of flavor it however you want. It's not lazy to ban something if it fits your setting. Exactly, yeah, it's fine. I remember playing a Minotaur in D&D 2e, got attacked more than once. Oh yeah, yeah, I like that kind of stuff. I make, basically what I do whenever I have a character like that doesn't fit into the setting, whether it be like an undead character or a Minotaur, people will generally, especially like shopkeeps, will be hesitant. Like they'll be scared of them. So it's just like anything you do, they start, not hostile, but they start like intimidated by you. They're just like, oh, whoa, you're big. Why are you in my shop? Don't break anything. And then you just have to talk them through it. Or like, you want me to wait outside? Like I can kind of squeeze through this door. And I make them roll like athletics checks and stuff to not knock things off shelves. It depends. Like, especially if you're like a gnome. If you're a Minotaur in a gnome city, there's a good chance you just don't fit into any shops. Like, you just don't fit. So I like that kind of stuff. It doesn't mean they just like openly have to be hostile towards you, but like the world is just not shaped for your character. Little side note, are we supposed to hear music? Yeah, is there not music playing? Let me check. It's just really quiet. That's probably better. Ooh. Let's do that. Jump over there. I think I'm about done with this one. Blah, blah, blah. So can anyone tell me what's being made at this moment? It's a Myconid warlock with an ooze patron. So I'm trying to make the hair look goopy, and I'm not doing a good job. Maybe we need to make it like more bleh. More blue. We can do that. 5e needs more plant people. Yeah, that's true. Play the Konrasu. I always find it really funny. A lot of Pathfinder stuff is still balanced for 5e. Partially because it was balanced for 3.5. And 5e is going to be way more powerful in a lot of situations. Specifically like the flaw system. I really like you get 2 bonus stats, but then you get 1 flaw. Pathfinder 2e, you actually get, I think, 3 bonuses and 1 flaw, which is usually pretty good. Maybe it is only 2-1. I think it's +1 to something, or +2 to something, and then +2 to a like strength or dex. You get to choose, and then 1 free. You get +2 to one of two things, +2 to another, and then one free one. Yeah, so you start with the base race for 2E. You basically would make a level 1 character and then go that way, go that route. But you get stats differently in Pathfinder. So as soon as you have like a level 2 or level 3 character, you're gonna have way more stats than you would in 5e. 5e does not like making the stats go up. It just doesn't. Centaur people that got a lot eaten by horses, like your mermaids. I mean, sure. Just a person on instead of a horse head. They have the whole horse body. That's always been my problem with centaurs. Centaurs to me should be satyrs. Because it doesn't make sense for you to have the shoulders and butt of a horse and then the shoulders and head of a person. Like, you got 2 torsos. You got 2 rib cages. That's weird. Satyrs make way more sense. Or you'd have to draw like a whole horse. Just put a human head on top. Hello. Or they still have the horse legs, but then they have hands. And people feet. Oh, it's nightmare fuel. I hate it. Oh my gosh. There's so much fun stuff you can do with that. Consistency, people. Consistency. Don't do that. Yeah, centaur satyrs make way more sense to me than anything else. Okay. I think I'm done with this one. I think that's about what I want. I'm going to try to add some little air bubbles in here so it looks a little more goopy. It's 12:41. I'm going to go grab a quick snack. Everybody hang tight. And we'll be back and we'll roll some more dice. Make sure you're voting for the next color. Make sure you checked out the new video. If you haven't checked out the new Conrasi video, I highly suggest doing that, sharing that with your friends, like and commenting on it. And I'll be right back in 1 second. Give me a second. We're back. Okay, we're back. Imagine being the child of a minotaur and a mermaid, but you're the human half of both and just some guy. Yeah, you can do that. That's a meme drawing, Oliver. Yeah, I think I've seen it. Getting juked out of a purple drawing. Purple did win. I'll end the poll right now. Then we'll start a new poll. Let's see what we're drawing next. Commissions are open again, by the way. If people are interested in commissions, let me know. You can just message me on Discord. Set those up probably a week out before I start them, but we are open. We have some slots. So I want to try to get some money saved up before I go on vacation next month. In July. I'll be gone for a week in July. So. Oh, commissions, you say. Where's the Discord at? There's a link down below in the comments. Check that out. Join the Discord. Come hang out with us. Share your art. I rolled a 9. Can I please suggest a Celtic male half-orc, beast barbarian moon druid? Have I drawn this character like 1,000 times? I feel like I have. Half-orc, beast barbarian, moon druid. Moon druids are the transforming ones, right? I never know what to do when someone says Celtic. So I just put Celtic tattoos on them? What defines a Celtic character? Kilt? I like to ignore minotaurs having hooves. I don't want to draw hooves. I like both. I like it both ways. If a centaur was born from Sleipnir, 8-legged horses, would it have 2 useless human feet dangling down there? Probably not. Probably not. Sleipnir was weird. Technically, Sleipnir should have shape-shifting powers, so do whatever the hell they want. Okay. Sorry, I went and got some carrots. I realize now it's probably not a good snack, but it's a healthy snack for me, so. Centipede. I've seen a comment for that too. Minotaur through a maze with human feet would have some weird slapping bare feet coming after you. I didn't think the Minotaur chased you down. I thought he just waited in the center of the maze. Maybe Celtic means beard. Can't remember. It'd be cool to get rules for tars with other types. I mean, they're easy enough to make. Essentially, you get the basic beneficial stats of it. So like, because if you're doing like a bear-atar, once again, like the centaurs don't make sense. So would that just have the legs of a bear? Would it have the whole body of a bear? And at that point, do you then have claw attacks? Like, can you stand up on your back legs and then have non-bear arms? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. At that point, you should really just be making, like, animal folk. Like, even the dragonkin, I think is what they're called, which are like the dragon centaurs, the dragatars, what you want to call them. They don't make any sense at all. Elephants don't have super. I don't remember about the super weird memory of elephants. Math homework. Celtic means half-naked barbarian with blue tattoos. Okay, we can do that. Ah, yeah. Sorry, legend. You can make it put a lot more fear in your players, like it hunts them, but finally waits near the end of the forced confrontation. Ted, welcome in. Yeah, for photographic memories, I don't know. It's like the whole elephant never forgets thing, I think, is a lie, but they do have really good memories. They're just flavorfully go for it. Doesn't matter. There's a feat for that. That's weird. All right. It's just that they have good memories for animals. Yeah. I remember talking to one of my biologist friends who studied a lot of fish, and he's basically like, most fish are pretty smart. Like the whole memory thing for goldfish is because goldfish are dumb because they grow up in tiny glass holes. Like, if you want your fish to be more intelligent, you need to give them stuff to like stimulate their brain. Turns out goldfish are just really bored. Elephants hold grudges. That's fair. The Minotaur is basically just Bane from Batman. Okay. How to train your goldfish? I was born into it. Exactly. One of these days, I'm going to figure out how to draw tusks. You know what? Let's go bigger. If this is an animal. Half orc. Let's give him the animal parts. Let's give him the tusks. Hell yeah. This tusk should go forward, not... Tusks are hard. Tusks are hard to draw. Maybe you just got one. How would you rule make more difficult someone who wanted to lame cut off a limb of an opponent in your game? Like take an armor leg or blind the target. I think that should be relegated to 1 criticals or 2 like they have to be, what's the word? Helpless, I guess. If someone is trained in a good example of that, like I was reading a Jim Butcher book. Can't remember what it was called though. Furies of Kaldar or something. Essentially, just being trained in sword combat is also about knowing how to get hit, which sounds stupid because like you hit with a sword, you die. It's like not necessarily. So like, if your players are trained well enough to be combatants, they know how to not get their limbs lopped off. And that was a big thing about like Star Wars too. Like, well, why did lightsabers cut off people's hands? It's like that was a specific technique that was used to specifically lop off people's hands. So there's an argument for both ways of like wanting to physically disarm somebody could be put into a critical, like a bloody critical where they actually lose strength damage or dexterity damage. Could be because they're losing a limb or they're losing the function of a limb. Or the other way to do it, especially with blinding, like are they blind because they got blood in their eyes, or are they blind because you've gouged out their eyes? Like is it permanent or is it temporary? So if you want to do that, if you want to do a called shot like that, it would be a more difficult thing to do. So you could either use the called shot system, which will do like I said, temporary damage, or you could do a more like kind of vicious system where they take a -10 to hit, and if they still succeed in that, then they can do that kind of stuff. But yeah, like someone else said, if you can do it, the monsters can do it too. Especially for like all the monsters that bite and claw and stuff. Like there's a good chance your players are going to start losing limbs. So generally, I would just say that if you reach 0 hit points, that's another opportunity where you can do that. Like let's roll a die and see what happens. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe you're just unconscious and bleeding out, but maybe you lost a limb. I've seen a few players do that too. So. Because yeah, like the last hit point, once again, hit points are not the amount of damage your body can take before you die. It's the amount of the ability of your character to continue fighting at peak performance until they cannot defend themselves. So as soon as you're at 0 hit points, the next time you're hit, you take basically fatal damage. That was the intent of hit points. Because otherwise you would lose functionality as you lost hit points. If you're at 50% health, are you at 50% blood? Like, what's the difference? Do you only have 2 of your limbs left? It's not how hit points work. So, I would argue if they want to do the called shots, and this is to clarify, if they want to do the called shots, essentially what they would have to do is have a higher DC to do something specific to give temporary negatives, like they're blinded for a D6 turns, or they lose strength because you hit them in the funny bone, right? Like, you're doing called shots in a way that can disable them, but it's not permanent because it's not actually physically killing them. If you get them down to 0 hit points and you want to say, I don't kill them, I just chop off a limb, that's an option too. They're still out of the fight. Or maybe they aren't out of the fight, but if that happens, that happens, you know? That's what I'm saying. So, like, you just gotta watch. Do the broken tusk. Yeah, I kind of forgot the tests. Hold on. I keep trying to make the tusk go out, but his face is facing this way. The tusk should really go like that. That's better. Sorry, that was a long walk to kind of get to an answer there, but by that logic, shouldn't a character be at 0 still be able to fight or move? Yeah. So in a lot of the rules, like especially in Pathfinder, you can. 0 hit points means you are standing. But if you take anything besides a move action or something to help yourself, so like you can cast an action on your turn to heal yourself, or you can move at normal speed. If you do anything except those 2 things, anything extraneous, climbing, jumping, attacking, you automatically bleed out. So I've let people do that. If they're at 0 hit points, it's like you can either attack this person one more time, or you can try to get away. Those are your options. They usually go for I'm going to make the attack. I let the attack happen, and then they pass out. So yeah, 0 hit points is not dead, but in 5e it is, and it makes me upset. And that's why the death saves have always been kind of strange to me. But I do like the way that Cyberpunk Red does HP. You get a negative modifier to actions at half, and more penalties as you get lower. Yeah, so I mean that might be, and with Cyberpunk, everybody's body is kind of like you can kind of tear it up, so it makes more sense that they do something like that. Fallen London is quite interesting. That's good. Yeah, Elvin here. I hope that helps. I'm gonna give this guy like maybe a big old dragon tooth or something. Should be diverse in design as tiefling horns. Yeah, that would make sense. There's a lot of cool different like boar tusks and stuff. There's not a lot of creatures with tusks though. It's a handful. Like, not as many as horns. Horns are definitely more common.
Narwhal orcs.
Right? Narwhal orcs. Just so big. Coming out of his face. I guess it'd be like, Burr. Narwhals swimming in the ocean.
Causing a commotion.
God. What was the guy's name that did all those videos? Something Beans?
I don't know.
I don't remember. Oh, the early days of the internet.
Way before my time.
Fair enough. There's a sheer lack of saber-toothed orcs. Well, tusks aren't teeth. I mean, they're not like saber teeth. It's the wrong side.
Yep.
There's not a lot of saber-tooth anything anymore.
Yeah. because we don't have giant megafauna that kind of require that to.
Do you think that's because the predators have gotten smaller? Or do you think it's because the prey has gotten smaller?
Well,
Do you think the tusks are for
'cause the-
big game or small game? Or, sorry, not tusks, saber-tooth.
I've always assumed it was for larger game because saber-tooth cats were pretty large cats, about the size of probably bigger than tigers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're big.
And so they probably would go after things like the weird giant camels and probably smaller mammoths and mastodons.
Saber-tooth orcs would just be bugbears, maybe. Humans killed all the big prey, so they have none left for large predators. I don't know how much humanity had to deal with large prey.
Yeah, that's kind of debatable because
Yeah. I think climate killed all the big animals.
yeah, because being a larger animal basically makes it easier for you to survive in colder climates.
I mean, a good example of
when-
that is like buffalo. Buffalo are huge.
Yeah,
And they thrived until humanity decided to get rid of them all. And
Yeah.
now it's like, that's
on us.
that one is on us. But for the most part, being like a big prey, being big makes you not prey. So. Headbutting contest. I assumed they were for foraging. eating cave mushrooms and stuff. And you can't really get into that stuff anyways when you start looking at like the biology of fantasy races, because like I said, they don't make any sense.
It's like, why did we have weird rhinos that had like forked horns, like stag beetles? Nature was weird.
What's the evolutionary niche that orcs have? That could be a whole thing.
That could be a dissertation.
Mm-hmm. Nothing about
probably is
orcs
a
that lives in
dissertation.
caves. I mean, I like orcs that live in caves. They don't like the sun. But you're right. In the Forgotten Realms, orcs are just just people.
They're alien invaders, actually.
Really? Orcs are from a different plane? What plane are they from?
Oh yeah. I don't think it specifies. There was a thing called the Orc Gate Wars,
Okay.
and they just kind of flooded the Forgotten Realms. They actually killed some gods.
Oh, wow. Is that the Orcus? Is that what Orcus did? Orcus made the...
Oh, no, Orcus is just an undead demon prince.
I'm rolling
He
dice.
was like a Tanari.
I rolled an 18 and a 17, which we don't have on the list, so I rerolled again. I got a 10. A fetchling thaumaturge with a star knife. A small round mirror hung around his neck in bits and bobs on his belt. That needed a comma.
Yes, I realized that.
Oh,
That's totally me.
okay. I can't remember. Fetchling are like the shadow people, right? Shadow elves?
Yeah. Yeah. Shadow human, shadow elves, however you want to parse them.
Red!
Because Thaumaturge is Thomar's new class. Oh yeah, Grumch is the orc deity.
Start a Q&A. That's not what I want.
Start a Q&A. I mean, you could. Yeah.
I think you were thinking of
'Cause-
Groomish? Groomosh?
Yeah.
Gromosh.
Group.
I thought Orcus was the god of orcs. Is that a Pathfinder thing?
Nope. Orcus is both in Pathfinder and D&D, and he's like a demon prince of
The god of slaughter, isn't he?
No, that's Inogu,
Whatever.
the giant hyena dude.
Yeah. Orcus is the demon god of the undead. Okay. Well, whatever.
Yep.
There's a place called Orcus Island out here in the Sound. And anytime somebody brings it up, I'm like, oh, that's named after the god of slaughter. And everybody looks at me like I'm an idiot. It's like, it's fine. I thought my joke was funny.
Considering they're allowed to use it, it's probably from some weird occult book from real life, which allows them to use it.
Could be.
Yeah, he's kind of like a giant winged undead minotaur thingy.
Weird. Yeah, I totally thought that was Maybe I've just played campaigns where orcs worship Orcus.
Worshipped him.
Yeah.
I mean, naming convention makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's where my head got stuck. It was literally Orcus Island. Fetchlings pretty boys?
It can be.
I always imagine those pretty boys.
In 1E, they looked really janky and kind of gangly and like,
Yeah, see? That's awesome.
That's Orcus.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't see that guy commanding an army of skull-clad orcs.
I mean,
awesome.
I could. But officially, it's Groomch One Eye.
Okay.
Because he lost his eye to the elf god.
Ah.
Which then kind of just moved to the center of his forehead, so he kind of became a Cyclops.
That's interesting.
Yep. 3.5 people. It was janky.
What's the deal with Somar again? I can't remember.
I mean, his skin glows.
Skin glows.
Like, yeah.
That might be the thing I was thinking.
I'm literally kind of like a glowworm. I don't imagine it's like his skin glowing, more or less like the blood. His blood veins kind of becoming luminescent and glowing through the skin. Because it's dim light within like 3 foot around me. That's it. I'm not like a shining beacon.
I mean, 3 feet of glow is pretty good.
Yeah.
I
Like enough where you can maybe read something. It's the Demigorgon.
Since there are smaller amounts of requests, may I put one forward? I missed the Monday post, but I don't want to take a spot if I had a lot. Oh, no, I mean, yeah, you guys can always... If you didn't post one on Monday, you can still post them here in the chat. That's totally fine.
Oh. He's Latin.
Okay.
Latin. God of the underworld, punisher of broken oaths in the Roman mythology.
Nice.
Uniquely Roman, not borrowed from Greece.
Murder? I always think of freaking... What's her name from... Wow. It's been that kind of week already.
He also gets conflated with
80s.
Dissipator. Thank you, Grey Gygax, for stealing names from mythology so everyone can use them without having copyrights thrown at them.
I don't know what I'm doing right now. This face is good. Doesn't match the head. Doesn't match the head at all. I'm gonna change the whole head.
See, is there any good fetchling poses or?
I'm gonna turn him into
They're
Gambit.
kind of
It's a really long.
they're kind of just monochromatic humans.
Yeah.
Like the only bit of color on them is really like their eyes, and if they like dyed their hair. Because they have like the tiefling style eyes where they're just like one solid color,
Mm-hmm. I really like
but
that.
they almost always have a bit of a glow to them.
Made him look like a nun.
He's definitely not none.
We're starting over.
He was a charlatan. He was a cad. Maybe not a philanderer, but definitely a cad.
Martin McSmallface. What if there were a race of beings that were embodied of a form of energy? I think that exists. I mean, the Kenrasu are just cosmic energy in a fishbowl.
And I would argue that's elementals.
Yeah. The weird. Could also be a weird.
Oh,
Whenever someone says
Reminded me when I had
grifter,
a-
I always think of like these little hats. A flat top
Grifter?
Stetson.
all the can't remember that band's name. It was like a two-man group. Wasn't Led Zeppelin. I don't think it was Led Zeppelin.
It's out of Genasi or something. You can do that. Oh my gosh. Oliver, we're drawing I mean... it's fetchling. It's a fetchling.
What were you gonna call him? An undead?
No, I just couldn't remember the word.
Oh,
Just every time I have to stop and tell people what I'm drawing, I get I get flustered because then I have to like really rethink about what I was doing. Very flustering.
I like it. I definitely like them because they can they have ability where they can create things out of shadows and hide things in their shadows.
Yeah, Oliver, I can hear you. Be sound, heat, light, kinetic energy. I mean, if you want.
I mean, those sound like weirds to me.
They sound like weirds to me a lot too. Which are just like humanoid elementals.
Yep.
And humanoid is like vaguely humanoid. It's like
Yeah. I really wanted to make a when I got into Magic, it was like soon after they released. I guess it was the second Ravnica
mm-hmm.
time they did it. So when they've brought it back for the second time, I wanted to do a red-blue weird deck. But I really hated blue at the time. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't want to.
Yep. I also tried to make a red blue weird deck and it didn't work out very well. Yeah, Oliver, I would suggest if you have homework to do your homework today.
Yeah.
Putting things off is not generally good. If you have the time, do your work.
Why put off something you can do today?
Thaumaturge now, huh?
Yep. He's been doing weird investigations in Chimney Man and thought he was hunting a hag at one point, so it makes sense that he would start studying weird occult stuff.
I can cast spells with a candle.
No, there's not even really spell casting. Though I did give him the scroll crafting feats.
That was a whole lot of yes anding right there, I think.
Well, thaumaturges aren't spellcasters. They have they can only cast spells through scrolls. That's it.
I would count that as a spellcaster. I will fight and die on this hill.
Well, then fighters are spellcasters. Everyone's a spellcaster then.
But if you specialize in using magic through any means, that's a spellcaster. So yes, if you're a fighter that specializes in scrolls, you are a spellcaster. Thaumaturges just specialize in itemized magic. Fight and die on this hill. This is it.
I'm not going to fight about this because I want to be in a positive mood. So
fair enough. That's fair. Like I get your point. Like they're occultists, so like they're just researchers. But
yeah, because like they don't have a spell book. They don't get spell slots whatsoever. And
how would you describe them as a where do they fit in the mechanical collection of characters?
I would situate them on the martial side, like a
martial,
kind of like how an investigator
okay
is. They're very like I would consider them more akin to like an investigator who, instead of focusing on intelligence, has focused on charisma.
That to me sounds like a martial sorcerer.
Again, they don't get spell slots or any way, unless you take specific feats that let you craft scrolls.
But so is their intent to craft and use scrolls in combat? Like, what do they use in combat? Because maybe I'm misunderstanding. I thought they were like ritual casters and
so what they use in combat, they use it's literally just called esoterica, little bits and bobs that you carry around, and you have to do a unique roll that allows you to basically get the weaknesses of a monster. And when you find them out, you use your ability called exploit vulnerability, meaning you take, I don't know, if something's weak to silver, you rub silver dust on your blade, and your blade now does silver damage.
So are they just monster hunters? Like, is that
yeah, they're very much kind of like witchers.
Okay.
Like with arguably less magic than Geralt.
Okay, that's cool. That's an interesting way to look at them. Then that's not how I would have interpreted them initially.
Yeah, because all their stuff is built around like wives' tales. Like, it's basically they took that idea. What if all these various wives' tales, like throwing salt over your shoulder or keeping a lucky rabbit's foot, are actually have mechanical benefits to you?
Cool. Okay. Yeah, I thought thaumaturge is basically. I mean, I guess it is. The way I've always thought about it is them being item based, like finding the magical potency inside of items and like the linking of the things of items. So,
and they do get like, and they can cast rituals, but like in Pathfinder, anyone can cast a ritual.
Right? Yeah, it's not wholly
skilled in it.
But like I said, that's like with fighters, absolutely. If you want to play a fighter that just uses magical weapons, you're a spellcaster at that point. Like you're a magical based fighter, which I think is great. I love that idea.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely see, because like I thought like when I first heard of the thaumaturge, I was like, oh, is this just like them renaming the occultist from 1E?
Yeah.
And
that's kind of what I thought.
Sort of is like the occultist's brother, who instead of doing weird psychic occult magic, decided to throw that out the window and just like pick up a sword.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize they were so martial class related then. That's
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot more of that in Pathfinder now. Like, you don't have to be a fighter, but there's a lot of people that would always dip fighter, so maybe that's why.
Mm-hmm. And one reason I like them as a, like, where they're kind of weird, I guess you could say they're supernatural marshals.
Yep, I like that. I think the main difference between being a spellcaster and someone that casts using scrolls is that you can't counterspell. It would be the field medic to the cleric of the sorcerer. I don't quite get that last part. It should be a non-magical AoE effect class. I mean, alchemist?
Yeah. Again, though, alchemists are just spellcasters. They just make spells in bottles.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not denying like they have very magical abilities. Like the reason I specified mirror is, you get like implements which allow you to do different things, and the mirror lets you create a reflection clone.
Cool.
That you can swap places with.
Oh, that's weird. It's like a spell.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They get like spell-like abilities.
Okay.
Like they don't get focus spells.
Yeah, I think that's the same argument I have with like the psychic stuff. It's like, I'm not a spellcaster. I'm using psychic things to cast spells. It's like, it's the same.
Yep.
Mechanically, it's the same.
Psychics are spellcasters. That's a hill I'll help you die on.
So, if you're gonna be a thaumaturge,
I think, honestly, probably they could have probably picked a better name, because thaumaturge kind of implies like you're some type of weird caster.
Yeah, I mean, like thaumaturgy
like convention
has always been a type of magic in my mind for a lot of other things. So for them to be like, oh, here, you're a pyromancer, but it's not magic. It's like, then you're not a pyromancer. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I cast mind bullets. Yeah. You can also be like a gunslinger. You can have a gunslinger with some AoE. They have some AoE bullets and stuff you can buy, but like in D&D, it's usually magical bullets because it just whatever. It's all the same. Yeah. It's all the same. If you're a wizard and you cast explosions or you throw a barrel of black powder, like I'm gonna roll the same dice. So
yeah.
I don't care how you flavor
it. Yeah. I picked mirror, bale. I don't know what else I will pick later on. Because you get 3 implements. And they recommend you going with like the 3 you take. So there are like separated in like action, reaction, and passive implements.
Okay, that makes sense.
So like the mirror is an action implement. And like the bale is a reaction implement. So the bell allows you to basically like interrupt spellcasters by basically ringing a bell.
Yeah, Cosmic, what you're talking about is the alchemist. Like the alchemist does exist in Pathfinder, and I really like the Pathfinder alchemist. Where the magic comes in is you can spend time making potions and bombs and like all kinds of different alchemical stuff, and the magic comes in that you can craft them instantly in combat. Like that's what you use your spell slots for. It's like, oh, I didn't bring any of these alchemical fire pots with me today, and I need one. I'm going to use my magic spell slot to make one right now. Just, and that mechanically works really well.
You know, the investigator gets something like that in a way.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Because there's like, oh, I didn't know we were going to be doing this today, but I just so happened to have a crowbar.
Yep, I'm really excited.
I was like, oh no. It's like, I happen to have a low-level healing potion stuffed in my pocket.
I've actually made an item to help monks have AoE. That's cool. There's a cool ring called like the Ring of Daggers, I think, that essentially turns whatever melee... It's supposed to be a dagger. It's supposed to be a small weapon. When you throw it, it turns into like an AoE cone. I really like that. I let Kevin the Necromancer do that with a greatsword, a Flameberg. That was really good. That was really fun. So, did you kick the character I asked for? Elvin, I didn't. You might have. Was it too long? Oh, here it is. I see it. Warforged, Oath of the Ancients. Let me get that. Let me put it on the list for you.
Pointy ears and a mask-like face. Sounds like up Rook's alley.
Yep. It's on the list. Choose the Jim Jam, yeah. I don't know what that is.
Jams? Jammers? PJs? When do I get to scope things with my spells? Or shadows? Okay. Looks like next level I can start taking my cool shadow powers.
Nice. We just slowly turn into shadow people or something?
No, you can, as a fetchling, you can like stow light items in your shadow.
Oh, cool. Okay. Actually,
So like you just
go ahead.
Poke it in.
I really want to play an artillerist gunslinger with gun wands and eldritch cannons as a magic, Peter. Yeah, that'd be really fun. I'm making my investigator. And what I did with them is I made them all the Garan stuff to give them make them a melee character. So they have the thorns, so if people attack me they get poked, and I have thorned fists so I can punch people. So I'm gonna have my character just not look like he has any weapons on him at all times, and then I got a coat pistol. So it's just hidden in my coat. And I bought a bunch of magical bullets that shoot goo. So if anybody if I have to don't move, I can just glue them in place with a gun. It's gonna be great.
You literally basically have a little derringer stuff up your sleeves.
Yep, exactly. So the only thing threatening I have on me is the bullet belt. It's a little tiny pouch with 6 bullets in it. But they don't look like bullets because they're goo bullets. So people are gonna be like, "The hell is this?" It's It's great.
My kids got a problem with it?
Yeah, don't touch those. My seeds.
That'll definitely stop them from touching it. Oh, I can't wait to hear stories about your corn.
Yeah. Rook starts describing his character while an evil laughing in the background. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be fun. Jump Rope and I came up with a secret code. So if Kevin the Necromancer starts getting uppity, we can just get him. It's gonna be fun.
Get him. She just turns full feral and just starts biting.
She's playing a gnome monk who's just specialized in stunning people. So if shit hits the fan, I think we're gonna wreck anybody that comes out of this. Oh, you brought a weapon to a brawl, my friend. We're gonna look highly unequipped, ill-equipped. All right, I think that's the fetchling. I think that's pretty good.
That's always my favorite concept for any character. It doesn't matter what they do. I just love characters who look like they had nothing up their sleeves or anything. It's just then I don't know, they pull sword out of their shadows, or they just do something.
That was always my intent with Finny, because Finny's just supposed to look like this really kind of gawky, derpy elf girl, but she's got 18 in strength. She's got all these magical rings. She has a whole bunch of tattoos that are just different kind of magical attacks. So it's just oops, didn't bring any weapons, and then she just murders somebody. So I always thought that was really fun. I built her specifically because I wanted one of my players to have to deal with, like, look how vulnerable this shopkeep is. Not specifically, but just like, I wanted her to look wildly out of place because they found her like as a wandering shopkeep, and they're just like, why is this random elf girl wandering around selling stuff? Like, isn't she gonna get murdered by all the weird dinosaurs that are around? Apparently not. And I just wanted to give them that thought of like, this person doesn't look scary, but is surviving in a very dangerous place. She's probably pretty tough. And I was trying to teach that to somebody, and I think it worked. But I like Finny a lot. I'm gonna try to play her more.
We never really got to know her, so.
Nope. Nope. I mean, I guess the first time I ever played her with you guys, she, once again, doesn't look like she's wearing armor. Just walked up to a dragon and punched it in the face. And nobody cared. Everyone's like, yeah, that's fine. It's like, This character's not doing what I wanted to do.
You didn't punch a dragon in his face.
Trying to... Did Finny go... Where did she go? What was the first adventure we did with her?
The first one we did was the scorpion fight.
Okay. I remember she was tanking, and it sucked, because I was basically spending all of my turn just healing myself nonstop.
Because you were constantly getting grappled.
Yeah, that's what it was. I was just
every single time.
Grappled and stung, poisoned. Yep, I remember now.
Yep. And I got sickened, but we didn't fully understand the rules at the time, and so I was just dry heaving left and right.
What kind of weapon would you suggest could be reflavored as a drill? Anything with piercing damage? I mean, you could have a dagger.
Yeah.
It really just depends on how much damage you want to do.
A +3 mithril drill bit.
Yeah, there you go. I love the unassuming badass type character. Yeah. Always fun. I've talked a little bit about that with, like, I constantly have people asking for big, burly minotaurs that are actually really sweet. It's like, just that dichotomy I think people really enjoy.
Yeah.
It's really fun to be kind of unassuming. Okay, I think I'm done. I think I'm done with this one. How do we do?
I don't know with me. I love how every time I've suggested Somar, it's always a different, very different. I love it.
You never give me descriptive.
I know. I do it on purpose because I like seeing how many different ways they can look.
I never remember what Somar is supposed to look like, so I always just guess. Just give me a good himbo.
That's because, I mean, it doesn't help that he has a very unassuming token art. It's just literally a fetchling with a hood on his head with glasses.
All right, what are we doing? Another red. We're doing another red sketch. How many people have voted on this? Yeah, that's a few.
14.
Yeah, that's good. That's a great number of votes. And Paul.
Make sure to like it.
Whoops. I screwed up. Purple.
Next color, purple. Do a coin flip, Rook.
For what?
Red and purple are tied.
Oh, are they? It said red. But it's probably because it was on top.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll flip a coin. Oh no. I'll fix it. I wrote green.
Green. Oh, creamy green.
Something.
Which I guess
all right.
They're yeah.
All right. Red is evens. Purple is odds.
Okay.
I rolled 6, so we're doing red. Pretty sure someone threatened violence if they didn't get purple. Who wouldn't risk it? I don't remember that. Oh no.
We're in
Burning,
different
hello,
parts
hello,
of the
welcome
world.
in. Characters I find myself making a lot is riddled with red flags, but is genuinely nice. I don't know if that's healthy. I'm not a big fan of making red flag characters. Partially because it can be disruptive, but if you're playing
Depending
like
on the
it,
red flag
great.
character.
Hilariously, one of my fellow party members is a big Furbolg soft boy barbarian called Himba Man. Yep, that's all.
Himba Man.
Alright, let's roll some dice.
I love it.
Warforged 4 elements monk. Uses only fire. Nice. Alright. That sounds pretty awesome.
Firebender. It's enough of a meme that's funny, but not so much of a meme that's disruptive.
Which one?
The Furbog.
Yeah.
Barbarian. So hello, Burning.
Is that a flaming skull?
It's one of the weird wisps they put out. It's called a Dread Wisp. And
Nice.
we were talking about tusks earlier, and
That's pretty
popped
good.
up.
Yeah. Define red flag characters. People that want to hurt other players, people who are just like obsessed with torture, like, or yeah. Essentially players that like, oh yeah, no, we're a good band of adventurers. Except for him, he likes to, you know, rape and pillage the countryside. And it's like, then that's not a good party. Like the one person that kind of purposefully causes chaos in the party, even though it goes against how everyone else is playing the game. That's a red flag character for me. Edgelords can fit into the party. I think that's fine. But yeah, it's the people that basically, like, my character's chaotic neutral and then goes around just stabbing people. It's like, you're not playing the character the way you say you're playing the character. You're playing the character to cause problems. So,
yep.
Yeah. I might be using the term red
doing
flag
right.
wrong. Then, yeah, that's fine. Like that's kind of what I assumed, because that's, I mean, NPCs.
Red flag.
Yeah. Red flags for me are like, just very very overt signs that, like, hey, don't do that. Like, just,
Yeah.
like, what the fuck are you doing?
Like anyone with elven aloofness.
Yeah,
Red flag.
apparently.
I'm just teasing. Sorry.
I'm gonna have to revisit how I do that.
It was so funny because you just like, that fails. I was like,
Yeah,
sorry.
I mean, but that's
Are the
okay.
rules.
It's like she was designed to get on people's nerves, but in a good way is what I was trying to do. She's supposed to be out of touch. She's not supposed to understand. Like, that's the thing. Like, her being hidden isn't that she's like trying to be subversive. She's not trying to like hide that she's really powerful, right? She just is really powerful and doesn't care. So she's just like, I don't need armor because I'm super tough. Like, who cares? But it came off really, really, really wrong. So I have to think about how I want to play Finny.
Yeah.
I have one of those players. Players are all right with him, so I don't know what to do. And nothing. I mean, if everyone's okay with it, it's fine. Like, that's yeah. At the end of the day, if everybody's having fun, then you're good. You don't have to worry about it. But I tend to play with friends, and so if somebody's being really weird or disruptive or like strangely aggressive, I can usually talk to them, and it's usually because they're not happy with something. So it's usually more of a sign that, you know, communication needs to happen than people really just being like, I'm here to cause trouble. It's like, man, why? What's up? Why are you being such a dick? I don't want peace. I want
problems. Always. Yeah, it was just funny because like Elven aloofness is such a weird feat, and then it's just like you roll badly, and it's just like this person hates you now.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
we're going right to hostile. It's like, oh.
I don't understand humans. Because I'm a billion years old. Skip Cat, no, hey. Skip Cat just stuffed his face in a jar too. Like, get out of here.
I wish I had a picture of that.
Pretty funny. Not gonna lie, as a DM, a red flag I've come across the PC is one of them with utterly inflexible storyline that they will never divert from. They have a plot they know and they will not stray from it. Yeah, that's kind of like I've seen that too. I've also had DMs that have that kind of same problem. It's like, no, we're railroading this, and it's like, okay, like I don't understand why. We do this, great. Anyways, it's like, oh, okay. I guess I don't get to play the game anymore. I've also found that the case of most murder hobos is that they're bored. Yeah, exactly. And that's like, red flags are a good way to be like, ooh, something's wrong. We need to figure that out. What kind of subversive or stereotypical society do you like in your games? Like elves are not benevolent, aloof. It's straight like the Star Wars galactic empires with their warlike racial purity. I don't fully understand that sentence, but
you just grabbed the astral elves in 5th edition.
I mean, the other part of that is like stereotypical societies. I don't have that. I guess my drow are pretty power hungry and like willing to backstab each other for it, but that also depends. I have run very few campaigns that are like in Menzoberranzan or in a royal capital, so I don't usually have to deal with that stuff because I don't like trying to write geopolitical crap. It's just not something I enjoy, so I generally just avoid it.
Well, you don't want to write like Game of Thrones in your D&D world?
Nope. Hard pass. What kind of subverted straight of hostile do not pass go, do not collect 200 gold? Yeah, exactly. Elves with Australian accents. I don't do that either. I tend to not put accents in my game because I secretly hate funny voices.
But you do funny voices.
I know. I hate it about myself. I hate it.
Just accept it. Just accept it and move on. Crikey, look at the size of that dragon.
Crikey, look at that dragon. I think something interesting about the funny voice thing is like you can get away with so much just by changing the slight inflection of your voice. Like, this is a new character voice now. I didn't do anything. I'm just talking a little slower and a little lower. That's it. Done. Accent created for a character. But everybody wants to immediately go to like, look at me. I'm the little leprechaun man. It's like, stop. Stop whatever you're doing. I don't know who that's offending, but I need you to stop. Just like, I hate it. It's always an extreme. It's just like, just talk like a person, please. I would appreciate that. I imagine elven aloofness as elves always being a bit out of time. Exactly, yeah, and I really like that. That's kind of what I was trying to get with Finny. Like, she's supposed to be a very young elf, but she's still like 200 plus years old. Which maybe doesn't quite follow the rules, but I like that aspect of elves being immortal. Like elves would still have to transatlantic accent, but would still see sugar as rare. That's funny.
Transatlantic.
Yeah, I found just those.
Some Niles.
Yep. Perhaps elves are like out of touch parents who's trying to get hip. You could play that as a character. That'd be pretty fun.
Oh, God.
Small inflections are all you really need. Yeah. Like, you don't have to completely invent a new character. Inflexible storylines, if you are in session 0, is silly on a player to be inflexible. But starting session 1, I can understand a player being less willing to change a backstory. I could see that. I'm very, very fluid when it comes to... maybe I'm bad as a DM. I'm bad at following people's storylines. But when it comes to, like... I've always been in the situation where I want to change something about my character. And one of the first games that Lars DM'd for us, we got into the game and we were playing for a little bit, and he's like, okay, so now 10 years ago your character did this. And I was like, what? Okay. And it just like completely changed the way my character was. And I was like, I guess that's my character now. Because that worked for his story, and it's just like, okay. So like I'm very much of a mind that your story going forward should be fluid, but I don't like a DM going back and retroactively changing your stuff, because that should be on you. Like, that should be up to you. Like, before we came to this game, everything that my character did was up to me, within the extent of that it should still make sense for the world. You know, oh, I'm a level 1 dragon slayer. It's like, you're probably not. You could have trained your whole life to slay dragons, but I doubt you've slayed any yet.
Yep.
So there's definitely like, still you need to talk to your DM about your backstory, and then they should be able to travel with it. Like, they need to tell the story of what's going to happen. And if you have like, I want to hit these points, great. Like, let them do that. But I'm a little less of. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think for me, that only really works like the DM like saying that you've done this and this. I was like, I think that really only ever worked as just because I've played one game like that. It was really just a one shot, and it was just like, this is why you all are together. Y'all have done a few adventures together. Period. Doesn't matter. They left it vague enough where we could have come up with what the adventures were. It's just like, you've worked for this person previously, they paid you good, and y'all have worked together before. That's why y'all are together. So it's like rails, I guess, but
I think
not
that's a good
railroading.
Yeah, that's a good way to build cohesion without having to let it happen naturally. And I've definitely I've had the opposite problem where it's just like 4 random people meet in a bar, and like none of them want to talk to each other because they're all so interested in their own storyline. And it's just like,
yep.
Okay, pause. We're fucking playing this game together. Make that shit happen. Unpause.
Grumble.
Yeah. I'm just imagining. Oh, hold on. Let me catch up on this. I see Rook is one of those who doesn't like Dwarven Scottish accents. I think it's fine, but yeah, normally I don't. I don't like forcing Scottish accents on dwarves. Partially because 1, it doesn't make sense, and 2, a lot of people can't do good Scottish accents, so it just sounds weird. It just sounds weird, and it's like, you look like you're hurting yourself trying to do that. Like, if it's tough for you and you want to get better at it, that's one thing. But if you're just doing it because you think you have to, you don't. You don't have to do it. Just do a regular voice. You'll be totally fine. You can tell us that you're speaking like that. I think it's totally cool.
Plus, you don't have to play 1 to 3 voice actors for wild dwarves.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, like, I think my biggest issue is it becomes distracting. Like, people trying to get through an accent, and I even get bumbled up with different voices when I have too many NPCs. So I want people to just fluidly have fun with the game instead of struggling through trying to think something they have to do a voice. The things I want to know about the story beats of their upcoming plots so they could prepare themselves for it. Baffled shrug. Yeah, I don't know. That's not how I play either. I'd be like, you guys got to just figure it out. I'm just imagining Rook making an animated show like Family Guy, but everyone just is the same voice. I could do that. I've done that in the past for some things. It's really confusing. I had 2 goblins that sounded exactly the same. It really pissed off my friends. They were not happy about it. I like the approach of the players gets to decide the actions of the character. Yeah, that's fun. And I think that's a good version of metagaming. But it can be bad. So, like, I really like it when players are like, ooh, can my character try to do this in the next few sessions? Like, yeah, cool, we can work something like that. But if it's like, okay, what's going to happen next to my character? Because I want to, like, know what's going to happen ahead of time. That's bad. I wouldn't allow that. Preparing
Sorry,
people
you're not an oracle.
Yeah, exactly. Preparing people for story beats is kind of odd. I like surprises. I don't know how. DM story weave if they want. I could see that being a red flag, like you said. Yeah. My dwarves are bald. Is that weird? No. I mean, as a race, all of them are bald? Maybe. That's a little weird. I don't know. I mean, you can do whatever you want. My dwarves are made out of rocks. Anytime I have to do anything with dwarves, I always try to make it seem like they are made out of stone or metal or something. I really like that aesthetic.
Oh, very well of you.
Magni Bronzebeard, I'm made out of diamonds.
Couldn't you be Magni Diamondbeard then?
Nope.
I wish they should have changed its name.
Yeah, seriously.
Diamondbeard.
Once again, Blizzard not make good decisions. This is known. This is known. I have had people in the past. I had somebody the first time we were trying to play D&D with them. They told me the story arc that they wanted me to tell them. I'm like, you're done. Like you wrote the story. That's it. Good job.
I'm making another character.
Yeah, like, so at the end boss, we're gonna do this, and I'm like, that's not how this game works. You might be dead by then. And they were like, what? I'm like, yeah. That's you don't decide how the story ends. You decide how the story starts, and then I kind of walk you through the rest. So, but there is a Skip Cat. No, you got to chill out. If you knock over anything, I'm gonna lose my shit. Where's my phone?
You're not paying attention to me.
You get. He just cleared somebody's name off the sheet.
Oh no. Control Z.
Yeah. Skip Cat. Yeah. Good. All right. I pull out the camera and he's like, oh, okay, I gotta go.
Oh no! Shame.
I am Rook. I am also Rook. I am also known as Rook. Take inspiration from Diggy Diggy Hole? I don't know what that is.
That's a reference I don't think me and Rook are getting. Sorry.
Yeah. Skip Cat? Oh my god. You just bonk your head into my microphone? What are you doing? What time is it? It's 2 o'clock.
Una.
Alright, I'm gonna go see if they want food. As soon as I move, he's like, oh god. This is a bad habit, though. If I reward you for climbing up on my desk, you're gonna think you can do this again.
Yep. Maybe wait 30 minutes.
Yeah, you get nothing.
Then food.
You get nothing. I give you pets. I give you pets and scritches. And then I'm gonna go back to work. And then I will go feed you. Dalcor, hello, by the way. Animator as well. It's a song. Okay.
Oh.
Thanks for hanging out, Runamaka. We'll catch you later. What are you doing? Alright, I'll be right back. Come here. Nope, come here. Off the desk. Yep. Oh my. Ah! Let's correct all this skip cat damage.
Damage.
Okay.
Time for the chicken cannon episode.
An adventuring party created around the premise of a chess set. That could be fun. It would be cool to get a chess game style combat. I've done some stuff like that. Like Wizard's Chess. There's a whole set for that. There's also been other stuff where you basically like... I guess they did that in Harry Potter. You have to like finish the chess game. Just like, yeah, you basically just become one of the pieces. That can be fun. But it can also be really weird. Paladin to D4. You smote the battleship. Rook is a clunky paladin or barb. Knights are self-explanatory. Bishops are clerics. Mages. You could do that. Morbid, I don't think you missed your fish man. Long time ago, back on the, I guess this was post Commodore 64, so this was a computer game. I think it was just Battle Chess. I think it was just called Battle Chess. It was really fun. I remember the bishops. I think they were wizards. Because really what you're doing is you're restricting movement for your players, which is the downside to trying to do something like that.
Unless whoever's made the queen. You
Yeah.
get to move everywhere.
Move wherever you want. Because that's the issue I've run into in the past. It's like, okay, if you start here, you can only move in one direction. And they're like, well, I'm just run all over and stab this guy. It's like, that's not how this game is played. Like, so do you want to play the thing or you want to just walk through the chessboard? So. Reverence, I think we're drawing a Warforged. A fire-based Warforged monk.
Yep. With the mighty fists of fire.
Trying to put little like steam vents all over him. Ugh, I got a hair in my mouth. I am terrified of my eye surgery coming up, but I can't wait to be able to have depth perception again. That's going to be amazing.
We just see a massive spike in like improvement of your art.
Yeah, I'm kind of worried it's
Whoa.
going to be like hot garbage because I've been basically trying to draw with one eye for the last 4 months. Yeah, unfortunately, like, so Cosmic, the queen could be anything, really. I mean, anything could be anything because, once again, you're restricting movement. So, like, rogues just lose their ability to have, like, to move twice, right? That sucks. If you're a fighter or a barbarian, then you can't be I guess you always have to move your character, so range is completely pointless. They're fundamentally different types of games. So anybody could be any place, and everything is an insta kill. So like, do two pawns have to keep rolling dice at each other every turn? Like, you have to basically develop a completely new rule set for what game you're actually playing. And at that point, D&D doesn't matter. So,
yep.
Eye surgery, yeah, scary. Yeah, I'm not super happy about it. But I have a bunch of blood in my eye from, I think an aneurysm is what we decided, but we don't know yet. We gotta get cleared out, and then we'll know more. Hopefully on Thursday. So next Wednesday, I will not be streaming because I will be having eye surgery. And then Thursday I have a doctor's appointment. And Friday we'll probably be streaming. They say I should be good to go on Thursday. So should be a pretty quick turnaround. They don't expect any like lingering effects.
Eye patch Rick.
Yeah, I have an eye patch on Wednesday. Eye patch for a day, ibuprofen for a day, and then I should be back to normal.
My eyes.
I can't see without my glasses. I can see. I can fight. Skip Cat,
God.
you can't just eat the food and then come looking at me like I didn't feed you.
It's been a while since I heard that line.
I say that all the time, like weekly. Every time I have to clean my
I can.
glasses.
Benjamin, hello. Did you draw a half-orc fighter that uses a short sword and shield? Best of luck with the surgery. Yeah, let me put it on the list. She's on the list. I'll probably be around. It's 2 o'clock now. I usually end it here, but I think I'll go for another hour. And then we'll, if I don't draw anything, something on the list today, we'll probably do it on Friday. So the list will carry over. There's a comic. I just discovered this because of YouTube Shorts. There's a comic where Thor becomes the Iron Fist. And I thought that was pretty neat. There's a lot of really like dark timelines in the Marvel universe. Thor is just a little too powerful, which is great. There's that one dude from Sword Art Online with the bladed shield that I've always wanted to replicate. Yeah, there's someone had me. Was it Victor? Might have been Victor. Someone had me do a commission for a blade singer that had a spiked shield with like a sword on it. I always liked that. Was a cool design. I really like that one. Yeah, Iron Fist is a Marvel character. He's a monk that has like infinite punch. It's pretty great. Scene one becomes the Fist of God, but not the Iron Fist. Interesting. Maybe that might be the same one. I don't remember what they said, because like the dragon basically died, so they kind of trick him into doing it, but he trains because he can't use Mjolnir anymore. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. I like that Thor's almost actually really smart. Just also acts like an idiot because he's impulsive. Yeah, I think that's a good way to anybody that's immortal can't be an idiot, I don't think. It's just like your intelligence may become slower than normal, but they should always have a pretty high IQ for things. I like Thor as a character. In the movies, he's a little bit of a bumbling idiot, but he's just so jovial. All right, Oliver, that's fine. I mean, I'm not the one that gives you permission to do your homework. I suggest you do your homework now, so that tomorrow you can just hang out. But I'm also not going to stop you from taking breaks. I want to give him like a fire. Ooh, that could be interesting. Just do like a big old fireball. Okay. I think I'm about done with this one. I love what if versions of characters. Yeah, those are fun. I think the downside comes when people like have to try to force things into canon. Which is why I really appreciate like the multiverse concept. But then when they're like, okay, so we have to make the multiverse a thing so that we can make other. It's like, no, just make other things. It's fine. Like make 5 different Spider-Man shows running consecutively at the same time. I don't care. Like that's totally fine with that. You don't need to explain it to me. I'm totally happy with just running different versions of people. Okay, cool. I'm gonna roll the dice again. Here we go. Asimar Konrasu Megas. That's an interesting combination. Many wooden wings. Eyes and tentacle-like roots. Blossoms. Okay. Tentacle-like roots. Is this just like a biblically accurate angel? Is that what they're trying to make me do? Green! Let me make this poll and I'll answer these questions. Like everyone thinks Thor is dumb because he always tries to solve problems with hammers. Well, yeah, he's been successful at solving the problems with the hammers for thousands of years. Yeah, hammer works. Imagine Thor, but Venom King is back. But Venom King in black. I don't know what the Venom King is. Like Venom? Who are your favorite artists and main influences? Who's the D&D guy? Dwight?
Wayne Reynolds.
Dwayne Reynolds, yep. Dwayne Reynolds. Frank Frazetta, for sure. Loish. Loish is another one. Steve Sketches.
These sketches is just great all around.
Orange Cat, what's up?
What color was I supposed to use here? Green. All right, green. Hey, that worked out. Would you rule that lore-wise, the Feywild and the Shadowfell touch many realms, so their idea of magic secrets shared across multiverses for the right price? I don't know how to answer that question. Would I rule it? I don't. Yeah, I can't answer that. That's up to whoever's playing.
Depends on your setting.
Yep. Like learning Echo Knight, but not in Tal'Dorei. What? Oh, becoming the King of Black. Okay, I can see that. That could be fun. No. I don't know what null is either. Elven Hair, if you're trying to find a way to rationalize playing an Echo Knight, just play an Echo Knight. If that's what you have to do to say, like, oh yeah, the Fae taught me how to do it. It's great, do that. That's fine. I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah.
If you're asking if you could pay the Fae to teach magic, okay, that would make more sense too. Null was the first King of Black. Okay, that's lore I don't know enough about. Yeah, I mean, like that kind of stuff I think is fine. Like, but really, you could also just, if you want to be a, Fae warlock, but just be an Echo Knight, that's fine too.
Yeah.
Maybe your
I mean,
parents.
I was an Echo Knight for briefly when I was in your Tower of Ashfont.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that stuff. I think that's fine. You need to talk to your DM, but
yeah,
for the most part, I don't think. Like I said, I'm not big on having to like rationalize shit. Just if it's fun, do it. Make up your own shit. Make up your own rules for why it happens that way.
Ask your DM if it's cool.
Yeah.
If they said yeah, go ahead.
Got annoyed at the Celestials being there, so he just killed them. Most of them. All right. That was another thing. I had a friend trying to build this whole thing, and I'm like, "You're trying to play a Hex Blood." He's like, "No, I want this. I'm like, that's Hex Blood. Like, you just reinvented the Hex Blood race." Well, I want to be a human. I'm like, you want the feat from being a human, but you want to play a Hex Blood. Like that's what you want. So it's like
You just
you don't have to rationalize it. Just play what you want. It's fine.
it's like, again, you could like, because like a Hexblood for 5th edition is basically Pathfinder's changelings, where they're like touched by hags. So it's like, and they are just basically not human, but whatever.
Yeah, whatever race you want to be, and then added it
Yeah.
on there. And that's essentially what I'm doing to him. he's like, I'm gonna be a human. I'm like, all right, fine. And then I've started giving him like, you gain this. He's like, that's awesome. I'm like, yeah, it's a Hexblood. Whatever.
You can rip your teeth out and give it to someone.
Yep. Let the weird shit begin. Burning was here a second ago. I forgot to ask how Burning was doing.
They might be still around. Yeah. Yeah, there are DMs who are like that, just like, this isn't Tal'Dorei, so you can't be a Eldritch or Echo Knight or whatever. And
That blows my mind.
yeah. I've known a few people who are like, yeah, no, it's not my world, so you can't be it. Like, okay.
I am very inclusive. I have no problem.
Yeah.
I've had some limitations, like people wanting to bring like anime superpowers into the game, and it's like, can you find anything related to that minusculely in the book? Like, give me something to start with, because whole cloth, that sounds super broken. Like if we just took it at face value, right? Like, I want to be One Punch Man. It's like, okay, you're a monk. I'll give you 18 strength, and that's it. That's how that works. Yes, I'm here. Burning, I was just seeing how you're doing, Burning. That was all.
Yep.
Only elves can be blade singers, and that just sucks. I mean, I like that aspect of some of the lore, but I would absolutely let somebody that grew up as an elf be a blade singer. Like, I don't see a reason to. I think in world, it makes sense that there should be only elven blade singers, but then you as a character get to be unique. Like you, like that. That's awesome, and you should respect the fact that you're like the only one. I think that would be really cool. That's a good character trope, or a good character story arc, right? Or trying to convince, starting as a fighter and then finding an order of blade singers. Like, I want to become a blade singer. That's a great character goal. Because then it is like, only elves can do this, and that's what you have to, character growth. Yep. That's really cool. But yeah, just being like, it says in the book, no, it's like, that's lazy. Make it work. Have fun with it.
Well, it's funny because DMs who say that are also ignoring the little thing below it says, generally this is an elven tradition, but you could allow other races to take it if it doesn't fit with your world.
Yeah.
That's like
so much of the book, and my contention that I have with people online can be solved by continuing to read. Like, whatever you just read to me, keep reading. Read what's the last part.
Yep.
Especially with spell
descriptions. Because like Battle Rager was like traditionally like 3.5 was a dwarven tradition, and only dwarves could take it. It's like, so dwarves are the only barbarians who could strap on spiky armor and hug people to death?
I'm doing well, thanks for asking. Most things can be flavored anime style with power magic, except for when bring anime powers. Yeah, I mean, it's the JoJo stands are another one. People are like, I want to make a JoJo stance. Like, cool, play summoner. Like, it's done. It's already, that's it. It's already in the book. It's already in the game. Like, no, I want it to be more like, it's like, okay, we're done talking. It's just like,
or if you're
don't have to
playing 5th edition, play Astral Monk.
Yep, Astral Monk. Done. Flavor it like however you want to make it as JoJo as possible. But you don't have to overcomplicate it. Yep. One time I was exclusive. The one time I was exclusive was in the homebrew world I had made. Dragons had an old empire and were overthrown, so anything related to dragons was off limits to the players. Ooh, interesting. I like that. And see, that's cool. That's a thematic thing, right? Like, that's a thematic choice that if you tell the players about is probably great, unless they like showed up like, I'm gonna be a dragonborn, and you're like, no. It's like, oh well, should ask first. Mechanically no different, but flavored as anime style usually does the trick. Yep, exactly. That's kind of my point. I'm totally fine with just a whole bunch of inclusivity for themes, character ideas. If people want to like play, I want to play John Constantine. It's like, cool, let's find a way to make that work. And like third-party stuff, I'm even okay with at some points. But most of the time, a lot of the third-party content is just doing what I'm saying right now. It's just like, it is just reflavoring something or changing something. So, pretty fine with a lot of that. I was upfront about it with the players. Yeah, that's perfect then. I think that's totally fine. I appreciate that kind of stuff. Like that's really how D&D should be. Like if you want something not in your game, that's totally fine. You have the right to do that. But do it because it thematically makes sense, and not because you just don't want to, ruin your story. It's like, are you really, or are you just being lazy? Most of the time, it's the lazy one. But I guess I'm also of the mind of, as a DM, I like a little bit of challenge. As a player, I like a little bit of challenge. So I am totally fine with player constraints, like being like, I want to be a vampire. It's like, oh, that's fine. You're gonna have to deal with sunlight, right? Okay, here we go. You're stuck in the middle of the desert. It's just like... Next, it helps to hear a welcoming viewpoint when most noticeable voices are negative ones. Yeah, there's no reason to be negative in D&D. I say as I like complain about stuff all the time. Kevin the Necromancer he's running the campaign we're going to play tonight, and I'm really excited for it. But we had a bunch of issues just trying to set it up because he hasn't DM'd for us before, and he goes real hard on his story. Like he has everything mapped out, and he kept telling us like, okay, so here's what I want you to do. But if you want to do something completely different, that's totally fine. And it's like, that's not what we had talked about earlier. And I'm very conflicted about my character because I think I have to rebuild my character if that's the case. He's like, yeah, don't do that, or do it, or don't. And I'm just like, Kevin, if you want to make my character so it fits your story, I will let you do that. He's like, no. I'm like, no, listen to me. Like the wishy-washiness of it, of being like, this is the story I'm telling, unless it's bad, and then you can do whatever you want, is super conflicting, and it drives me crazy. Because I can make a character for anything. Like I can just make a random character any day of the week, and I can play it in pretty much any campaign. But if Kevin has something that he very specifically wants to do that my random shenanigans might screw up, I would rather him make a character, give it to me, and be like, this is what I want you to play in this campaign. I can have fun with that. I totally have fun with that. But that's the far end of it, right? So being able to talk to your players and really hash out, like, what do you want for my character to make versus what I want to play needs to be able to meet in the middle. And when there's a lot of wishy-washiness and like oh, it's ruining my story, it's like, it's our story. So what can we make that is going to make our story have fun? Yeah, it's just like communication is so important to that kind of stuff, and it doesn't have to be negative, even though it like sometimes doesn't feel good. Because it's like, I want to play this, but let's just make a character. Just make a character and play. There really should be a little bit of wiggle room there. But there are hard constraints, and that's totally fine. You need to be able to deal with that. It's been a while, but boy, I got news from my robot. Purge, hello. Let me try to catch up on this. I got a news. My robot can turn into Sailor Moon. Nice. Beyond the Witchlight and beat hags. We're gonna fight an odd beast. Nice. 3.5 half dragons was so much better than Dragonborn. Yeah, Dragonborn are just very specific half dragons, and I think Dragonborn are kind of boring. But I like that they exist. I don't like the constraints that are put on them. They really should just be a specific variant of half dragon. Anyone playing Wild Beyond the Witchlight? Nope, I am not. I don't think I've actually played the campaign. I have the book, but it's for that reason that their options for vampires, like for PC, it's a little lackluster. They saw the mixed reception of Drow and decided that wasn't the way forward. I mean, I love the were creatures. I think they're really fun. I highly suggest using the 3.5 templates over the last book that came out, I think. Or basically the other thing you can do is just give people free levels in Shifter. That can be a lot of fun too. Shifter or what's the I guess it's the Shifter class or the Shifter race. There's two different versions. I like the 5e Dragonborn, but Fizbin's as it does everything I want Dragonborn to be able to do. Yeah, and I think Fizbin's is closer to the half dragon template, which I think is a lot smarter. I'm really worried because I got an item that turned me into a robot. Got me from a robot to a wooden robot, and things we're going to fight has fire, so I'm in trouble. Yeah, character challenges. Gotta rise to the occasion. Cursed items are always fun. I like cursed items. One of my players for my tomorrow game, my Thursday game, I gave him a ring of invisibility, which I love, but it's cursed. And it's going to try to put itself on all the time. Anytime his character is stressed out, I'm going to make him roll a will save to put the ring on. And I haven't decided what evil thing the ring is going to try to make him do, but I like the impulse of a ring. Like, it's the one ring. It's 100% the one ring. I'm totally doing a whole bunch of Lord of the Rings crap in this game because I know all the players love it. But I don't want to just make, I don't want to make it have to destroy in the end. I want to make it something important. Oh, they wanted lots of eyes, but like Kenrasu don't have eyes. Looks like it just have little flower boops everywhere. Yeah, cat? What's up? You let me inside and now I'm bored. .5e is pretty weak in terms of cursed items, in my opinion. They're mostly just inconveniences. Yeah, 5e really didn't want negatives. Like, they didn't want any bad things, which is why they removed the negatives from player stats. There's Bane, I think, is one of the few things that does any negative rolls in the game. Like, you can't get negative stats, you can't get negative abilities. It's kind of boring. That's one of my big complaints with 5e. Could have a handful of floating eyes in one hand, maybe. Just like ethereal eyes. That's kind of creepy. Oh, Pixel, what's up? Hello. You gave me second breakfast, but it's lunchtime. Oh, you're such a dumb cat. Give me a cursed knife that can murder anything but will ruin my life. Make a hard choice. Yeah, I've done that. I love that. I gave Lars a great sword that I told him you can roll any dice you want, as many as you want to do damage, but you're also going to take the damage. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to use this on the end boss. I'm like, you're welcome to try. He used it on a librarian who didn't die from it, which was really funny, but he rolled a D100, so that was great. Yeah, super fun. I think I'm gonna give that. I gave that dagger, a similar dagger, to one of my players in the other game, but it's actually the same person with the ring. He just keeps picking up all the cursed stuff. I'm not gonna tell him that's how it works, so hopefully not. They're not listening. Spoilers if they are. It's a bad dagger, but it's gonna be fun. See a video you made and it had a race called a Poppet. Yeah, is that a race you made or something else? No, that's from Pathfinder. Pathfinder 2nd edition has the Poppet race. They're just tiny toy constructs. It's really fun. I like the idea of cursed items, but not the potentially malicious intent by the DM to punish someone players. Cursed items should obviously be dubious and strong. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's absolutely the case. Never give your player an item to punish them or correct something. If you can't talk to them about correcting a character issue, like, oh, you hit too hard, we need to drop your stats are too high, or this weapon we gave you is a little too overtuned. If you give them something that punishes them, it's just going to make them upset. It's just going to make them upset and not fun. And if you're taking away like the thing that makes their character unique, that's also like, it's just a dick move, and it's going to make them not enjoy playing. And that's how games end, real fast. So, Pops are Pathfinder 2 Ancestry, yeah. Yeah. Speaking of which, it is 2:30. I still need to finish up 2 different pieces of art for tonight. Do I have time to do that? I think we do. I'm going to do one more. I'm going to do one more. So this will be the last time we do a color. If people want to vote for the next color, we'll do the last sketch, and then whatever's on the list, we'll try to finish up on Friday. So are they like chunky or like living marionettes? They can be both. The Poppet for the Ancestry is very open. They're usually toys or dolls, but they don't have to be. They can really be anything, because they're just either wished to life or the soul of a dead player gets transferred to them. So they're very, very open, but most of the time they're supposed to be small dolls and toys. Was the original intent. I made Conan the Lion as a detective. I thought that was really fun. He's got a ballista arm. I've had my Dhampir monk cursed by a berserker axe, as was the only one to remember it going back for it. Nice. The berserker axe is pretty common. I like the base idea for it, because essentially with the berserker axe, you're giving somebody rage. And so like if you have a good berserker, I like the idea that you can make them, like, I actually will make it a boon to where here's a berserker axe, you can use this to rage once per day, or it can automatically make you rage, which is great. But you are always reckless, and or there's a chance that you, like, the effects of the berserker axe still go off. So it can be really detrimental to a barbarian or really beneficial depending on how much they care. So I like that a lot. You can play with it. Like, it can be a whole character arc for them using that axe. Here we go. Rolling the dice. Don't have that many left. 3. A male gunslinger furbolg with 2 revolvers and a large flat brim hat. That's a good one to end on. Cowboy furbolg. Let's do it. Blue. Impulse. Campaign I ran for a week because my friends were ill. Really old man who craves wooden toys and they come alive. Nice. That could be a creepy campaign. There's a lot of like animated puppets and stuff, I think, in 5e. I say a lot, but I think those exist. If not, you can just use the animated object class of monster and kind of make your own. This might be the most cow-looking furbolg I've ever drawn. We'll find out. Should I give him a beard, too? No problem, Oliver. Thanks for hanging out. A puppet that has put them in a puppet show, which my friend has failed to explain what that is. I don't know what I need to do. I mean, that sounds like, yeah, that's a lot of weird stuff. Berserker Axe 5e just forces you to attack until you die or run out of living things to kill, which is terrible. Yeah, that's great. I think that's fun. Does it still have the confusion status effect on it or not? Gonna go for a test tomorrow. I'll join the next stream. Thanks, Birch. We'll catch you later. We'll be streaming again on Friday, so feel free to check out that video, the pop-up video again. Yeah. I don't know if it's turning them into poppets or what, but you got some options. Furbolg. Part of me really wants to start wearing my cowboy hat again, but I never go outside, so oh well. One of the first, this is a funny story about me, which I guess this is trivia for later. First job I ever had, like the first job I ever really had, was at a Dairy Queen. And with my first paycheck, I went and bought a guitar and a hat. It was just it was an old, not an old, it was a new, brand new hat, but like it was a old looking fedora, not a trilby, like an actual fedora, like soft felt cowboy hat looking thing. And I wore that for a long time. It was great. And then I eventually bought a nice leather one that I have now. And I just kind of forgot about the old hat. And then one day my dad was wearing it, and I was like, what the hell? Where'd you get that? He's like, I found it in your closet. It's nice. I'm wearing it. I'm like, okay. So now my dad has that old hat. This is a fun Fun thing. Still +1 axe that makes your friendly fire. Yeah, that's still fun. Still fun. Yeah, if you're like a berserker barbarian and you have the berserker axe, like, ooh, oh, the potential. The potential for fun things. I need a picture of Cad Bane. Mandalorian did him dirty. Yeah, so if you have the Berserker Axe and you have Berserk as a class feature, like it stands to reason that you're familiar with raging, right? Like you should be able to control your rage a little bit. So I like to play it to where, because it gets beneficial for some people if they don't care about the party. Like, oh yeah, once I start raging, I can't stop raging. Like that's great. That's actually a boon. But the downside being is that I'd make you roll a dice to see if you attack the person closest to you, or you actually get to do what you want to do. I'm getting cowboy vibes. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Definitely looking like a mobster, like using my table. Mobster Furbolg. We were talking about an anime. I think it was Gunnex Sword. Guy's got like a weird ring in his hat. I dig that. That anime is really stupid, to be totally honest, but it's got some really interesting stuff. Doesn't make any sense. I don't recommend watching it. That was probably one of the worst experiences I've had playing D&D. Getting a Berserker Axe? Count yourself lucky. There could be much worse things, but that's still, I'm sorry that it wasn't fun. I've never given somebody a Berserker Axe without them being like, hell yeah. I've always been super excited and then murdered somebody in the party. Rage at 5e isn't a debuff. Yeah. Like when you stop raging? Because you're supposed to be fatigued, I thought. Like, can you just re-rage? Yeah, I mean, everybody I've ever talked to has loved the Berserker Axe because you basically, you don't have to stop raging. You just like, once I start raging, I'm gonna go. You just go nuts. You only get fatigued if you're a Berserker and do something extra. Okay. It's easily the worst barbarian subclass. Oddly enough, it's the most played for me. Like, most of the people I know pick it or the totems. Totem barbarians. I see totem barbarians a lot, but secondly is the Berserker. I haven't watched new anime in like 15 years because I got tired of watching a bunch of weird pervy crap to find the hidden gems. That's fair. That is fair. We talked yesterday. We just hung out in the Discord. We talked about anime for like, I don't know, 3 hours or something. It was pretty great. Let's see, what are the ones I'm supposed to... I wanted to watch Chainsaw Man. I've heard good things about that. Chainsaw Man, and there was another one I was supposed to watch, and I can't remember what it is now. But whatever. There's a lot of bad. Oh yeah, I want to rewatch Outlaw Star. That's an old school one. I like it. His Gender Buzzing Radio. Infinite Rage. I think I'm just gonna texture this up. I'm probably gonna call it. I feel like everyone's tolerance of pervy crap is different, so recommending anime can be tricky. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Yep. That was something we were talking about yesterday. Is like, because like Chainsaw Man, I think is what it's called. It's pretty brutal. It's very violent, and it's like I generally don't like that stuff, but the anime, the style of Chainsaw Man looks really cool, so I really want to watch it. So it's like I understand that it's probably going to be a little too gruesome for me for my liking, but I want to give it a shot. The Herring Gone Berserker Barbarian for the joke. I won't stop you. I won't stop you. I was basically stuck with a weapon I couldn't hit with due to low stir that I couldn't use my class feature with, and it made me friendly fire. No thanks. I mean, were you forced to use it? Because I'd let you equip it. Like, essentially for me, like the biggest thing in 5e is like if you have a cursed weapon that you don't want to use, unless it's inherently forcing you to use it, which is something your DM can apply. It essentially is just stuck as one of your attuned items until you get the curse removed. So, what kind of animes do you prefer? Also, cool to see my recommendations. Thanks. Yeah, no problem, Phil. That's what the Berserker Curse does. Interesting. While you're tuned to this weapon, your hit points maximum increases by 1 for each level you obtain. See, that's good. People like that. As long as you remain cursed, you're unwilling to part with the axe, keeping it within reach at all times. You also have disadvantage on attack rolls with weapons other than this one. Ah, okay. So. Yep, that sucks. I would definitely try to get it removed. And that can be interesting too if you're not like, I think with cursed items I generally have like it's a character arc when you give somebody a cursed item. Like it's like, hey, here's a thing you need to deal with, and that can be a lot of fun. I had a really like a poison dagger that Lars just affixed to me, and that was annoying because it's like I'm a spear user. I don't want to use daggers. Made the best of it until I could get rid of it, and then I chucked it and threw it in a volcano. I think so. Definitely worth doing. I like the Berserker Axe. I'll still give it to my players every time. Yeah, Cosmic, that's weird. So yeah, so as a DM, if it was something that wasn't changeable, I would hand wave it too. Like I wouldn't have given you guys that weapon, so that sounds like the rough spot. They shouldn't have given you a Berserker Axe in that situation. Live and learn. It happens. I think that's about it for me though. I was gonna do the gun belt, and then I do the coat. I think I'm just more interested in the cowman, regardless, than having to draw the weapons today. Thanks everybody for hanging out, by the way. Once again, we'll be doing more on Friday. If you didn't get to suggest anything this week, feel free to keep adding to that list. I'll check it on Friday. Or if you haven't added anything yet, you can always suggest one on Friday. But we do one a week per person, and then we'll have another one up next week. But the list I have will continue on, so if you suggested something now, I'll draw it on Friday most likely. We're actually getting down there, so that's pretty cool. Otherwise, I will put all of these on the Discord under the hashtag Discord and Draw, and that way you guys can use them for your D&D games or your character sheets, whatever you're doing there. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. Go check out the new Konrasu video. There's a tag down at the bottom if you want to scan that with your phone. That'd be cool. How did the cow or deer furball come from? Is it just CR? And if so, why? So furball were for a very long time just Fey giants, but in all of the old editions, they were just Vikings. They were just Fey Vikings, which was stupid because they didn't look like anything. So they wanted to make them look more like something, and so because they were Fey inspired, they made them look more like ungulates, I believe. So more bovine. Yeah, and that's why they wanted to distinguish them from other giants, which I think was a really cool call, and I really like it. And I don't want to draw any more Viking giants and say like, oh yeah, they're Fey inspired. It's like, no, they're not. They're just Vikings. So yeah, that's it. Thanks again. Let's see if there's anybody else online, I should say, worth giving a follow to here. And then we'll call it a day. Redirect. Is anyone online? Ooh. Yeah, Indestructible Boys online. Let's go check them out. So that's all I got. Stay happy, stay healthy, keep your dice on the table. We'll catch you on Friday, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye, everybody.